strength. You are now listening to the Gorilla Strength Podcast with your hosts, Scott Lamb, John Davis, and JT Donahue.
All right, back with another Gorilla Strength Podcast. Here again with Zach Schulze, 175-pounder from Florida. Recently off a comp.
Mm-hmm.
What comp was that?
It's America's Strongest Man. Yep,
Where
80 kg.
And that was held where?
That was in Mesquite, Texas.
Mesquite. I've never been there.
There's actually a barbecue sauce named after that town.
I have eaten some mesquite.
Yes.
I know.
But,
Use mesquite seasoning.
Yeah, I didn't realize it had its own city.
Yes.
That could be. It could be. Those words could be used in a different way, in
Very
a different
much.
context.
Yes.
Mesquite.
Mesquite.
Yes, we'll change the subject on that one. But coming off a comp, I know you trained a while for that.
I did.
I believe. I don't know if we talked about that last time we were here or not.
No, I don't think it was even announced, to be honest.
Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about that comp, how that went for you. We've got some other news to talk about as well.
Yes.
Obviously, in the world of strongman and there, and beyond.
All things
Beyond.
sports, strength related.
Yep.
So let's get right into it.
Yep.
Comp, let's talk about the weight cut. So obviously,
Yes.
A big deal
Mhm.
for a lot of people in this sport. I've done it many years myself.
Increasingly so.
Yeah, and unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to look at it, I think everybody, unless you're a heavyweight, most people play the game.
You have to.
It's definitely brutal. We
very
can
hard.
talk about this. Very mentally taxing for sure, very physically taxing.
Yep.
Everybody, I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of people go at it different ways, which is interesting to me. I've always been very interested in that.
Yeah.
The science behind it, because it's absolute science. What
It
the
is.
body will withstand and what it won't withstand. What it won't put up with.
Respond to.
Yep. Yeah, you actually helped me with my first one.
Sure.
Just through some text messages.
Yeah, I remember that. That's been a long time ago.
2019 OSG.
Yeah, and different ways to do it, and I've tried different ways. I found a way that I think works for about 95% of people if they are mentally strong enough to do it.
And that's what it is. Is the
100%. And a lot of people, they're like outside looking in. Even if they have to lose 10 pounds, they're like, oh, that's no big deal. I'm like, well, it might be a bigger deal than what you think.
I've heard that before, man. Yeah.
What's the percentage that you cut as far as your body weight? What would the percentage be? Like a 10% cut or?
So I walk around between like 195 and 200, but I'd say like my average weight is about 197.
Okay.
And so it's about 10%. 197 to 176. That's about 10%.
I stay in the 10% range, which is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about this before, and I usually say anything over, and I'll tell anybody, anything over 5%, you're getting into some pretty deep water.
Yeah.
And dare I say, dangerous waters.
Could be dangerous.
Could be depending on how you do it.
Yep.
And a lot goes into it with the cut, as far as the cut, and then even more so the refeed, which is you can really screw yourself up.
Yep.
On either avenue.
Yes.
So let's talk about it. You had how much to lose going into this?
Well, the first thing I want to say is I have to lead with this because it's something that I just find so cringeworthy is when people talk about and like make excuses for why they sucked. They'll write this like long-winded paragraph about
John does that a lot.
Daily, actually.
In everyday life.
in his journal.
Nothing to do with weight
Today
cutting.
sucked.
Long post alert.
Yeah, exactly.
Today-
Long post alert.
Yes.
I hate.
I
when
scroll
read
right
that from
past.
people.
I scroll
Exactly.
right past it.
Nobody
Yeah.
reads it,
No.
and at the end of the day, like,
No one cares,
dude, you just weren't good enough.
Yeah.
Sure.
No matter how you cut it, you weren't good enough.
You had
And
a bad day, whatever
and that
the
was
case may
exactly
be.
what happened.
Yeah.
I wasn't good enough that day, and so when
happens.
when you get to the level that, and I don't mean this in an egotistical way at all. I mean, I compete at a high level. And it's extremely competitive from every element, from the training to the diet to the water and weight manipulation. And I would consider myself as close to a professional as you can be without having a pro card. And for whatever it's worth, the pro card
Get you nothing.
Get you nothing. It'll open up some doors for you, but there's guys that I know that are pros that would be beat by some amateurs that I know.
Absolutely.
So it kind of at this point in time doesn't hold a lot of weight. In 5 to 10 years, there might be a bigger discrepancy between amateurs and pros. But right now, it's like if you
realistically, it's still in its infancy as far as the lower classes over the 231. I mean, myself, do I think maybe I'd be a pro strongman?
Oh, I think you would.
I think I would have been at some point.
Yeah.
Does that matter? Not really. Is it cool on a resume? Maybe. Does it mean anything? Probably not.
It helps your business.
Sure, and it can. You know what I mean? It maybe gives you a little bit, legitimate to what you're saying, legitimacy, I guess you would say.
Yeah. Well, there is one perk that makes me very interested in being a pro, and it is you do not have to qualify for the Arnold or Nationals. You get an auto invite every year.
I think it's like that now too. If you've won Nationals, you've won National, this is new.
I haven't seen this one.
I believe it's because I know for Nationals anyway, if you've won, I don't think you have to requalify to go to Nationals. And
cool.
Maybe with the lower classes like ours, even to the Arnold. Don't quote me on that.
Okay, I'll double check tonight.
We'll definitely have to double check on that because with Deaf and Ball taking over, excuse me, I think that was one of the changes, which for me it's good because I've won, Masters Nationals. I finished pretty high in Open Nationals. Fourth was the highest ever finished in Open. I'm proud of that.
Pretty good, man.
Yeah, I'm proud of that. Yeah,
231's a freaking hard class.
200. So 200.
200.
Yeah, 200.
200. My opinion, I think 200 is even harder. I think 200 is the toughest.
It's getting and across the board now. I think when I first started getting into this to a higher level, the badass 175ers, but they were very far and few between.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, you've got probably the top 10 is very nasty.
The standard is insane.
I just watched. The 200s just went this past weekend, and I think at least 3 guys were overhead pressing like 375.
Yep.
I'm like, what? See you later, boys. Like, I'm gonna shake your hand on this one.
Well, look at my class. Ricky Pangyanaban pulled 735 without a suit.
I saw that,
and didn't even really train for this contest.
And he did it fairly easy. Fairly easy.
I from what I understand, from what I'm told, what I've heard, it's also natural.
I've heard that as well. And
which is crazy.
The kid's just a freak athlete for sure. Regardless of whether he's on anything or not, I don't care.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but it's a nice little cherry on top.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Just you're talking about an absolute freak at that point.
Yeah, he is. We mean that in the nicest way, Ricky.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolute freak.
Yeah, I mean, and you see him in this sport, men and women, for sure, and now, and definitely in every weight category. It's definitely different from when I got into it, which is great. Just the evolution of the sport. I mean, you guys are doing weights now that you would have saw in World's Strongest Man 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's a fact.
Well, think about like Cale Beck, like 15 years ago, him pulling 500 pounds in a suit was like, oh my God, this guy's insane. Now 500 pounds in a suit or 500 pounds of like...
Period. Yeah. Is just nothing.
There's there's local shows that are making you do that on an axle.
Sure. Yeah. Novice even.
Novice shows, yeah.
Yeah, so the evolution is crazy. But let's talk about, let's get back to the weight cut.
The weight cut.
Because that's always been around.
Yeah.
That has also evolved and, the way guys are doing it has changed since I started. For sure, but let's talk about it. So you're sitting around what was your starting weight? 197, you think?
Yeah. So when people say starting weight, what I look at is like, what were you 8 weeks ago?
Sure.
So about 8 weeks ago, I was about 197.
Okay.
Slowly cut carbohydrates back, increase cardio. Slowly titrating that up so it didn't affect my training, which I did it so effectively because I did not seem to lose any strength at all up into where I did the my final heavy training days, which I did very, very well.
Let me ask you, I think a lot of people are interested in this, like on when you're walking around at 197, how many grams of carbs would you take in a day?
On a training day, I'm consuming about 350. So I do carb cycling.
So nothing crazy though.
Nothing insane.
Nothing crazy. Okay.
No, I do, and I actually keep my protein pretty high, higher than normal. And I actually got into a conversation with Aiden Howell, World's Strongest Mullet. I don't know if you know him on Instagram. He used to hold the world record.
He went to 231 now.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, the guy that does flips and all that shit.
Yep. Yeah. He was a. I think he was a gymnast, maybe.
He's a freak. He was a freak 200. I believe he's out of Lightning. He's out of Lightning.
I think he is. Yeah, he's young. He's like 23.
Yeah, kid's a freak for sure.
He is a freak for sure.
And he really, at his 200, he didn't look like this big muscled up dude. You know what I mean? But the kid he came out of the scene to me out of nowhere. And
There's your truck.
every time we hear this truck, every time.
Sounds like my truck. I don't know whose truck that is, but
Well, it might be your truck. Around here, your shit could be getting stolen
that
right
could
now.
be
Yeah,
happening,
really.
bro. Honestly.
John will take you home if that's a fact.
Yeah, really.
Okay.
But so starting out at 197, you start feathering your carbs back a little
Yep.
bit.
Increasing cardio.
So when you do that, and this is just a question for myself, really.
Sure.
I've had issues before. In my like opinion, like if my carbs go down, I feel like I have to bump my fats up, or I feel like pure shit. Is that what you do, or no?
No, I don't really touch my fats and protein. I really don't touch at all. So those are always constants. I really don't touch those at all. The only carbohydrate or the only macronutrient I really manipulate is carbohydrates.
Okay.
So I'll keep that the same for the most part. And then when I cut back carbs, I tend to only do it on non-training days.
Sure.
And I try to keep my carbs on training days for as long as I can until I need to start pulling them away. So on my training days, 350. On my off days, I got as low as like 100 grams.
Okay.
And
yes, you feel okay that way?
For the most part, yeah, it didn't really affect my training, but what more so it affected was just like my day to day, like just feeling tired. Before training, there's all kinds of stuff that I take. Like I take injectable L-carnitine, DADA, use like some stimulant stuff like tesofensine and whatnot. So basically, like, as long as I can fuel myself for the training session, I'll deal with whatever ramifications come from my day-to-day life.
Right.
Lots of caffeine. So like, I guess if I were to take away those ancillary supplements and stuff, I would probably not do as well.
Right.
So yeah, that's that. So 197, got down to 193, and that's where I actually started like my cut from like 7 days out.
Okay.
So then what I did 7 days out, I took my carbohydrates down to like under 50 grams, and I'm not really training at all except just some technique stuff.
Backing off at that point.
Yeah, I'm doing some technique stuff. I'm at like 50% comp weight, just keeping the gears moving, going through commands in my head, just more of like a mental training than anything. And then my first mistake I believe I made is I started my fast too early. I started my fast on Wednesday.
And you're weighing in Friday morning?
Weighing in Friday.
Okay.
Weighing in Friday. So I didn't eat anything Wednesday. I didn't eat anything Thursday. And of course, I didn't eat anything Friday till after weigh-ins.
So no protein shakes, no nothing, or just across the board, like cut everything?
The only thing I had was some pickles.
Okay.
There's like 10 calories in a pickle. So nothing. And then, now this wasn't a mistake. This basically just worked better than I expected. I used distilled water for my water load.
See, I never do that.
And
Never.
it let me tell you, man, it worked too well.
Yeah, because I've always, my understanding of that is you're stripping so many minerals at that point because there's nothing in water, in distilled water. Like, I don't think a lot of people know, distilled water won't even boil. It does not boil.
Because there's no impurities in it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, I've never went that route. I've always been scared of it stripping too much from me. So that's interesting you went like that. Do you start your water load how many days out?
I started 6 days out.
And you go up to how many gallons a day?
3.
That's a lot.
3. Actually, this one I cut it a little bit early because I was doing so well. I cut it to like 2.5, but I had normally done 3. So if I'm weighing in, I'm just gonna say Saturday or Friday because that's normally when you would weigh in. Wait, we weighed in Saturday.
That's right, because you guys competed on Sunday.
And so I started my fast on Wednesday still.
Ooh, you're way out.
Yeah,
way out. Yeah, that's brutal.
And I didn't need to do that because I also weighed in like way lighter than I needed to be.
What'd you weigh in at?
I was 173.9,
okay.
And like when I first got there, I was 173, and I was like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna drink a little bit of water." So I started sipping on my Pedialyte. I take a few sips, step on the scale, take a few more sips, step on the scale. So I was actually, like 3 pounds under.
Did you
almost 4 pounds under?
Now, do you do any heat like this, sitting in saunas?
I did. Yep, I did 2 20-minute sauna sessions the night before, and I didn't even need to because of how much weight I dropped the next morning. And the other mistake that I made, now, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus here. we're trying to talk shit, but there is a Discord channel that I guess all the pertinent and important information for this competition was being discussed and held at. I did not know it existed until the night before the contest.
Okay.
So, like, for example, things that I didn't know is exactly what time weigh-ins were, which I should have probably asked somebody sooner, but I assumed that they were between, like, 8 and 9 o'clock, because that's typically when weigh-ins are.
Was this an AM, PM type?
Yeah, they did have multiple weigh-in sessions, yeah, but the weigh-ins were at 11.
Is that what I'm saying?
Oh,
Is
man.
the comp day? Did the comp day have an AM, PM session, like maybe the
Two separate sessions.
females before you guys competing, or did they start everybody in the morning?
Everybody started in the morning.
Okay.
So females did theirs, and then we immediately did ours right after.
Okay.
Yeah, so we kind of all did all the events at the same time, with
Gotcha.
females starting first. Yeah, so I didn't know what time weigh-ins were. I also didn't know when the rules meeting was the night before. I'd never seen that. Usually it's the morning of. But apparently at higher level contests,
Nationals and stuff, it's usually the night before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
the Arnold as well. Like
yeah.
It's always the night before.
Which I learned that, but I didn't know that then. So I was also anticipating weigh-ins being a few hours earlier, which means that I had a few more hours of being in a deficit,
Right.
which means I lost more weight.
Right.
So that was first mistake was fasting too long. Second mistake, or maybe not mistake, but the distilled water worked better than I expected. Third mistake was not knowing exactly when weigh-ins were. That one probably isn't that big of a deal because it was only 2 hours, but still a variable. And then my fourth mistake. There's a fourth and fifth mistake here.
Big list.
These are the big ones.
Good God.
These are the big ones. These are the ones that really fucked me. I have some digestive issues usually after a cut as well. And I believe it's just because I'm so dry on the inside that my bowels and digestive system don't have enough liquid to like push things out, So I, when I tried to recoup all my water, I was doing pretty good. And then at night, it wasn't even at night, it was maybe like 4 o'clock, I decided to have I already had a couple meals that were on track and on schedule. They were like rice and bananas and honey, so just like basically baby food kind of stuff. At about 5 o'clock-ish, I was like, all right, I feel good. I've gotten most of my meals and then I needed. My water's good. Like my weight was already back up to like 192. I went out for dinner and we got some grilled cheese and like some sweet potato fries, which is actually something that I would normally have. One of the things that I'm really big on is like don't eat foods that you don't normally have.
Sure. Yeah, real heavy.
Yeah. So I eat bread all the time. I eat cheese all the time. I eat sweet potatoes all the time. So that was kind of in my wheelhouse of food. And I was good. And I actually felt good after that meal. And then for some reason, I was like, all right, let me get a tomato soup. And so after I ate the tomato soup, I just felt it like all in my stomach, and it was almost like feeling like a balloon, like slowly imploding.
You think it's
in my
because of
stomach.
the sodium, like high sodium, or?
It might have been, but that's the sodium thing is what comes in the next mistake. So at that point, like my stomach is completely trashed. I can't put any more water in me. I couldn't put any more food in me, and it was weird. It was almost like it sucked the life force out of me. Like I couldn't drive. Like Lauren had to drive me home from the restaurant. I just felt like that food in my stomach not only made me feel like horrible, like digestive wise, but it almost like incapacitated me entirely.
Mentally.
Yeah, it was really weird. And then so, we got home and I kept trying to put fluid in me, but this wasn't going anywhere. So every sip of water I took, it was just like bigger and bigger and more painful. And it was like to the point where like I just felt like if I moved, I felt
Something was going to give.
I was a penguin waddling. It was weird. So at that point in time, I'm like, okay, and I had already taken the laxative the night before.
See, I've never done that either. Because I was always scared of just overstripping. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I know people that do it, high level guys that do it. And like I said before, it's pretty interesting because everybody does stuff differently. And you can't say, well, that's wrong. Well, if the guy's cutting 20, 30 pounds and it works for him, then that's for him. But
yeah, the more you cut,
everybody's
the
so
more you
different.
got to try to like get everything out of you. And the laxative I use is a natural one. It's just a tea.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a blend of like it's called Smooth Move.
I heard of that.
Yeah, Smooth. It's an herbal tea. You know,
Yeah.
I don't do the magnesium citrate stuff. It never worked for me. It just actually pissed my stomach off more than anything.
Yeah, that stuff's brutal.
Chemical.
Yeah, and it just didn't work for me. Sometimes it would, but more often than not, it would just give me like bubble guts really bad. Yeah, seriously. So the Smooth Move works really well, and I've had a few other athletes use it too, and they're like, dude, this is significantly better than other methods. But anyways, so that night I'm like, I have to get this food out of me so I can put more water in me. Now, mind you, earlier in that day, I already had 2 liters of IV fluid. I had something called Hammer Strike, which was made by this company called...
I heard other people talking about that.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. It's are you familiar with like a banana bag?
Mm-hmm.
It's similar to that, but more... Banana bag is more for like hangovers and shit.
Right.
Hammer Strike is more for like it was developed by this company and then also Tyler Davis. Do you know Tyler Davis? So they kind of put it together. Amino acids, electrolytes, glutathione, vitamins, things like that.
So more for an athlete.
More for an athlete, exactly. Yeah. So I got that plus another liter of IV fluid, which also has sodium in it too.
Sure.
And so, anyways, fast forwarding again. It's nighttime, night before the comp. Stomach feels like it's about to literally explode. Like I felt like if I had a needle and I pushed it in my stomach, it would just everywhere. It's how much pressure. So uncomfortable. So I took every laxative I could as far as the types. So I took a saline laxative. I took a stool softener. I took a stimulant laxative and a stimulant, saline, stool softener, and the Smooth Move tea. Again.
Wow.
Right, so I took all of that, and it worked.
So this is after your refeed.
Yes.
So this is insane right now.
This is the night before.
Yeah, we're going down the wrong road here.
Well,
Yeah.
where I was like, I need to get more fluid in me. I can feel like my pee isn't completely clear yet. You know, and I could just see myself in the mirror. I wasn't full. You know, I didn't have all the glycogen packed into me. I didn't fill back out yet. So and not to mention, like, I'm in incredible pain just like from being overstuffed. And so I did that, and everything came out of me at about 3 o'clock in the morning. But all of my water came out too, as you can imagine. So I wake up in the morning and I'm 188, well under, 5 pounds under.
Yeah, where you should be, right?
Where I should be. So I kind of start to panic a little bit. So I'm like, fuck, like, I can't just pound all this water because it's going to make my stomach hurt again. So I call up an athlete. I don't want to put their name under the bus because I don't know if this is legal or not. But call up an athlete that I know that's there, who I know does IVs. And he gave me 2 more liters of IV fluid, which... I felt better for about the first 30 minutes. Like, I felt like I was rehydrated. Obviously didn't gain that much weight back because 2 liters of IV fluid's not that much. And I did end up eating some food that morning. I went to the gym before that, and I just did like a little bit of pedaling just to try to get my digestive system moving a little bit. Got some food in me, did the IV, and then like probably 30 minutes before the competition started, I started to feel just like everything kind of like tighten up. My fingers, my face,
Sodium
my joints. Yes. Overloaded on sodium. I don't know how much sodium I had, but it was probably a lot. Way more than I needed because I took 4 liters of IV fluid.
Well, I think I can't remember how many 1,000 milligrams or grams that are in each liter of saline.
It's at least
bag.
a couple.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So I had all of that, and then of course the day before I had like LMNT, right? I had some of those, and then just whatever electrolytes come in the food that I was eating. There's some sodium in there, so just a massive amount of sodium. And so at that point, like, my blood pressure is extremely high. I've lost clarity. I couldn't think straight. I asked Josh, one of the guys there, during one of the events. I'm like, what are we even supposed to do here? I don't remember. It was it was like a medley. So I had to like watch people go.
Big brain fog.
Yeah, brain fog, and I would just, on all cylinders, I was just not coherent. couple of the guys walked up to me. They're like, dude, like, are you okay? And I didn't say anything to anybody, but they could just see it in my face. Like, I could barely keep my eyes open because my face is so swollen. If you go back and watch like the log press and the axle and the dumbbell, when I walk away from the dumbbell, I like stumble because that's why I couldn't lock the dumbbell out. I just couldn't balance. You know, like the dumbbell wasn't that heavy. I just couldn't balance.
No, and for people that don't know, like that can heavily affect your grip.
Yes.
Your hands get super tight. I tell people people that that don't do this are non-athletes. I'm like, you ever went and ate like a ton of sushi with a ton of soy sauce, and the next day your fingers are tight and shit?
Yeah, it feels weird.
So obviously that can affect your grip and other athletic stuff. You know what I mean?
And it did.
And John and I have seen people do this. Brian,
right?
Yeah, you remember that year he did all that IV stuff from Orlando. Brian from Orlando.
Yeah.
And remember his eyes were so like swollen. This was the Arnold in like 2006 or 2007. And I remember he was already at weight, and you'll recall this, but he kept doing IVs. You remember that?
Yeah,
like
I was there.
Yeah, we were there.
Doing them?
Yeah, we were
Dude,
there.
like 3 or 4, and this guy was already overweight.
Well hydrated already.
And I mean, his face, his eyes were almost swollen shut. I was like,
Yeah.
my God, dude, like, what are you doing?
Why do you do that?
Yeah, I don't know. But I guess that, people's thinking like, well, if one's good, then, 3 must be better. It's
Right.
Like, no. When it comes to, sodium, and the body is very sensitive to sodium for sure.
Yeah.
Well, back then it was a 48-hour weigh-in, too.
You had 2 days?
Yeah.
This was for WPO, though.
WPO.
This was for...
powerlifting.
This was crazy shit back in the day, man. The shit we saw back then
Yeah.
was like, what is...
2 day weigh-in.
There was an
amazing.
individual that they would wheel in on a wheelchair.
That's a fact.
And like lift him up
Couldn't
and stand him
up, yeah.
on the scale and just kind of like let go for a second and then put him back
To
in.
make
and then,
weight?
Yeah. Like it just ultra dangerous stuff. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That, stuff we've seen, and and a lot of guys know what's up with this stuff. It's not you're not the epitome of health doing this. Your
no.
kidneys, your livers being strained beyond belief. I've seen guys personally that we know where their eyes are jaundiced, your yellow eyes. I'm like, bro, everything's shutting down. This is organ failure. And that's usually guys that we knew were taking diuretics, which I've never touched either. Very scared of diuretics.
Very scared of diuretics.
Yeah, they can kill you.
Yep.
And this individual was doing very high milligram. I'm talking about wasn't it like 80 mig?
Like Lasix?
Oh, I'm not sure, but it was...
Lasix. 80 mig Lasix from like these heart patients, and even nurses that were around when he said what they were like, what? Like, dude, you can die from this.
I would never touch that stuff.
Yeah,
because there's no
very
coming
scared
back
of it.
once you
It can kill you.
take too much.
And people do die from it. Still to this day, they die from it. There was a guy a couple years ago that died
bodybuilders die all
at a
the time from that
bodybuilder.
shit.
He was a bodybuilder,
Yep.
and this certain individual, I don't want to mention any names.
No,
just,
it's okay.
But this certain individual was at a bodybuilding show. I don't know what he did to get lean, but got a call for the night show and said, hey, make sure you show up because third place just died in the hotel room.
Oh my God.
So you're going to get a trophy. And I was
Wow.
like, holy shit.
That is ruthless.
For a plastic fucking trophy
Right.
that
From the
no one
morning-
gives a
yeah.
shit about, and
No.
died in his hotel room. And basically they chalked it up. It was Lasix.
Were they pros?
No.
No. Okay.
No, so
That's
there
even
again-
more sad.
Yeah, but this is the reality of it. People are doing some crazy stuff.
Extreme.
Or they'll hear it online, now, they hear some guy that's done this on YouTube and they're like, well,
Yep.
I'm going to try that. Like, buddy, and I definitely think that some of the heavyweight pros, some high, performing heavyweight pros, back in the day that died in their sleep, and
Yeah.
it was due to like insulin and Lasix and all that.
Insulin's
It's like
another one that is very
super dangerous.
What's interesting about insulin is that it's actually probably one of the safest PEDs if you know how to use it.
extremely anabolic,
If
more
you know how
anabolic
to
than
use it.
anything.
Yeah.
But it's timing.
Mm-hmm. Timing and dosage and
Very scary, man.
and the amount and how you're using it. You know,
Sure.
because like any hormone that you produce endogenously is going to be safer than anything that's not endogenously produced, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
testosterone is significantly safer than like Dianabol or Trin or anything
Sure.
like that. You know,
Right.
and insulin, if you're using it properly, is not crazy dangerous. But what happens is the biggest thing that I see is that people don't know how the fuck to read a syringe. And 5 IUs is a very small amount.
Yeah.
Right? And then they pull it out to the 5.
Yeah.
in
Right.
a syringe.
It can
That's
kill
not
you.
5. That's 10 times the amount you're supposed to have.
Yeah, there's a
brother.
difference between cc's and ml.
Yeah.
Milliliters, and yeah, I would never touch. Like, it's very scary. And not to mention people that do abuse it and they still live. I would say, you can tell me if you disagree with this, but
Sure.
9 out of 10 of them end up being diabetics.
Yeah.
You're destroying your
Well, we
pancreas.
knew that one individual.
What I see people become diabetics from actually is the rampant and massive use of the growth hormone.
I think I would think it's usually a combination that
Yeah.
I know of, insulin and growth, and they all basically become diabetics because of it.
Yeah. More so in my experience, and what I've seen, more so the growth hormone.
Yeah.
But the thing about growth hormone is that if you take it for long enough, and the amount that you take, you kind of have to start taking insulin.
Sure.
Because growth hormone makes your pancreas produce less insulin over time.
And you're also not talking about your typical dosage from your doctor of growth. These guys
No.
are doing massive amounts, 20-fold what they should be
I've
doing.
heard of guys doing 20 IUs a day.
I've heard that as well.
Like, first of all, what the fuck do you do for money?
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Because you're spending like $2,000 a month on
And-
growth hormone.
And if you're getting a black market, how legit is it?
Safe.
What is it? Yeah.
Well, that's the other scary part. Remember John Meadows? I don't know.
Sure.
He in a pod. I listened to everything John Meadows ever said on the internet.
Guy was awesome.
I love John Meadows.
Yeah. A monster.
But I remember. Do you remember when he got really sick and had to have a part of his stomach taken
Yes.
out?
Yes.
Well, he attributes that to Chinese growth hormone.
Yeah.
He thinks that that's what caused that
Wow.
for him.
Well, they say a lot of it too is just laced with heavy metals and
Probably.
who knows what else is
Peptides
in
and
it.
shit.
Yeah, so a scary deal. I want to touch on sodium real quick. I just popped back in my brain. We're all over the place here, but also learned years ago, like manipulating sodium. If you do take too much of it out, that the body will make you produce a hormone to make you retain water. So you have to be. I can't remember. There's a hormone. I can't remember the name of it right offhand, but you can look this up.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
But definitely, I call it like your body throwing switches. It's like emergency switches.
Yeah.
And once that's done, it's over.
Yep.
Like, you're not going to cut weight. I've talked about this before, I think, with Rich Stout, one of the best 175ers or 200s in the state has ever known.
Dude, he's just a monster.
Absolute freak. One of the best guys in the sport. Nice dude.
I love that guy.
But I remember him cutting weight one year.
You told
and,
this story.
Yeah, he messed up a lot of stuff.
Yep.
But I think it was because at the end, I think it's because what the body will do when it picks up low sodium is very dangerous for the body, your organs, and it will throw these switches to where it's protecting itself, and you will not budge past that. Like, at that point, you might as well just go up the weight class, go ahead and start hammering your food in. You're gonna miss weight.
Yeah, and that's why I explain. People ask me all the time, like, why do you try to lose all this weight so quickly? Why don't you do it slowly over time? That's the thing is you're literally tricking your body.
You're trying to outrun the systems.
You have to outsmart your body, which
Sure.
which is very hard to do because your body has been built for thousands of years to survive.
Evolution.
It does not give a fuck about your competition. It wants to survive.
Absolutely.
So when people ask me, "Oh, why don't you start doing the sauna like 2 days
No.
out, dude?" Because if you dehydrate yourself for 48 hours,
body
your
will
body's
pick it
gonna
up.
fucking start absorbing water through your hair follicles
Sure.
in the
Your
air.
skin.
That's why
a
you can't take a
shower.
shower. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't shower or anything because the moment when you're dehydrated and like truly dehydrated, your body will literally like
Pull
open the pores and even
Suck
if it's
in every bit.
even if it's humid out.
You sure?
Your body will pull that water in.
I can't remember the guy. Fuck, I always forget this guy's name. He's out of California. He's got the best video on weight cutting, in my opinion. I think he just moved to Texas not too long ago. Why do I always?
Is he a
forget this guy?
strongman competitor?
Yes, 231er. He's got the best weight cut video online. I mean, it's very similar to what I do, and I've talked to
Okay.
this guy. He's the guy that called Winning Out.
Winning out.
They called Winning Out on the PhD.
Atlas Shrugged. Atlas Power Shrugged.
What's his name?
Well, he's one. Oh, he's one of them. Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Dude,
Atlas Power Shrugged is one of them.
shit, dude. This guy, Bromley.
Alex Bromley.
Bromley.
Alexander Bromley.
Alex, so
yeah.
I've
That guy is
talked.
a
I talked to him,
genius.
dude. I talked to him, and anybody's looking for a weight cut protocol, you can look up Bromley's.
I've watched that video.
It's old. It's very similar. I helped you a little bit. That's very similar. What I do a little bit different, but I think that's a very good rule of thumb. And I believe the video, he cuts 35 pounds in like a week.
Yes.
And,
but he was a little heavier though.
He's a big guy.
Yeah.
But I literally talked to him at the Arnold, like at the rules meeting or whatever. A super nice guy, very knowledgeable.
Very intelligent.
And we've kind of exchanged some stories that day. I've told you about issues I've had with it.
Yeah.
to where I don't know that anybody else has had these issues about, I get these violent hiccups, and
Yeah.
it's super bizarre. And I don't know. I kind of chalk it up to something with my vagus nerve.
Yeah, Bertie said that.
Very uncomfortable, man. Like, I'm talking about, it will make you crazy. Like, I want to kill everybody. And the last time I had it happen,
I can imagine, dude.
I missed weight big time. First time I'd ever missed weight in my life.
Yep.
I tried something different, did not work. I missed big time. Like, I missed by like 5 or 6 pounds. It was bad. Started throwing up, which I've never done. I mean, my body was, I knew right then I'm done.
How much weight did you have to lose?
22 pounds, which is usually my normal cut.
And that's not that bad for a 200-pounder.
Yeah, but it's bad enough for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
you're talking a 10% cut. And so shit went real wrong. You know what I mean? And I learned what not to do, and I'll stick to what I know for sure, because I've never had a client miss weight ever.
Yep.
And this guy that I was kind of listening to told me the same thing. But I cut water way later than I normally would.
It was like 16 hours, right?
Yeah, if that. I don't even know if it was that. Like, I cut
very
water
late.
way late than what I was normal. So I was like, hey, maybe this guy knows something I don't know. But my body wasn't having it. I want to say I ended up, I'd have to ask Ashley, but I ended up getting hiccups for like, it was well over 3 days.
I think you said it was 80 hours.
Maybe even 90. It was so bad to where, now I have to compete this way as well. So it's very uncomfortable.
Imagine
and I'm not
deadlifting with the hiccups.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about like, hiccups. I got
Yeah.
hiccups. I'm talking about violent, bounce you out of the bed.
Yeah.
Very painful. I mean, it's so.
That's
anyway,
crazy, dude.
It's just, you see crazy shit doing this stuff.
Does it happen to you every time?
I'd say now I've gotten it probably 3 or 4 times. Never that long, no. So, but I try to beat my brain like, what is doing this to me? And I did a lot of research.
Yeah.
And so some of the research would say the vagus nerve is extremely pissed off at that point. So I didn't know if it was because of heat. You know what I mean? Breathing in hot air for fucking hours on end. And then I thought it was between that and I think a huge mineral deficiency and not getting the minerals in correctly. And your body will do some very strange stuff.
Did it ever mention anything about beta blockers?
I've read a little bit on that, but I don't know enough about it to speak on it. You know what I mean? So maybe I don't know.
I just know that people that have problems with the vagus nerve, which can present itself in many different ways as far as like the symptoms and issues that you can have from it. A lot of times they just resolve it by taking beta blockers. It's essentially your vagus nerve basically, it's like, what happens to it when it gets overstimulated is it gets like excited.
It's like spasming.
Yeah, and so
which is what hiccups are.
Right. It can cause a spasm in your diaphragm.
Yes.
And it can cause you to have
violent
spasms in all kinds of different areas in whatnot.
Well, it's always my diaphragm. So
I had this one lady, she was a police
bad.
officer. I almost say, actually, this is a funny story. So she was a sheriff's deputy, and she had a vagus nerve issue to where it was triggered by heat. If she overheated or trained too hard for too long, she would pass out, almost like a goat, Wow. And I was I was a young trainer. It was like my second year as a trainer. I didn't really understand it. I was like, whatever, this lady's just being a pussy. She just doesn't want to work that hard. Anyways, it happened to her, and she was like passing out on the floor. And,
scary, dude.
And she was like, I might need you to take me to the hospital. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I might need you to drive me to the hospital. And I was like, you mean like in your car? And she's like, yes. I'm like, can I turn the lights on?
Yeah.
She's like, yes. So I'm like, let me go run and talk to the manager real quick.
Way.
Yeah. She's a sheriff's deputy.
Well, yeah.
Her name's Carly, actually. I'm going to send this podcast to her so she can listen to it. I talked to my man. It was like Gold's Gym in Claremont. I was like, hey,
funny.
My client, she's a sheriff's deputy. Like she needs me to take her to the hospital. Can I take her right now? And he said, no, because like an insurance liability, you have to call an ambulance.
Let her die, I guess.
Well, they called an ambulance.
Get her outside of the doors.
She dies.
And I was like, shit, I shouldn't have even asked him. I should have
just gone.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Dude,
ask forgiveness later.
How many people can flip the lights on in a cop car and you can just go?
Sounds like
nobody can say shit. I got the cop right next to me.
Sounds like liability central here.
Yeah. I was young. I was like 22, maybe 23.
That's funny.
But anyways, back to the vagus nerve. What I've read and what I've seen from other people is like if they have an issue with the vagus nerve that maybe they can't circumnavigate or figure out like what's causing the problem, they just take beta blockers and it usually just kind of calms it down.
And you know what? You know what? Now that you say that, I think someone did tell me that. But I didn't have beta blockers in my pocket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was in Texas when the last time it happened.
Yeah.
And very frustrating, man. I mean, And then when it starts to go away, you're thinking like, okay, I think I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm at the tail
And
end.
then about 2 hours later, they come back and you're just like, fuck, I want to fucking rip the hotel. I mean, it really.
Dude, I can imagine.
You know, there's people in this world that have them their whole life.
Their whole life, yeah.
bro,
I've watched shows on that.
I think I would have to be done with this life.
Probably kill myself.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, just, you know, a horror story from, you know, my shit. But
yeah,
let's get back to your.
Yeah, I'll finish mine up.
You took way too many IVs.
Way too many IVs. I panicked. The biggest, I don't know what the biggest mistake is, but my takeaway, big lesson from this is, when I refeed, I don't think I can do any solid foods or anything more solid past like a yogurt. So.
Wow. You mean initially or period?
After I weigh in, at least like till the next day.
And I've heard stories of that. People are telling you need to really ease back in, with lack of a better term, like lube up the digestive system.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be eating this heavy shit. And we've all done that.
Yeah.
Like early on, lifting, you know, cutting weight. Man, let's go eat this. I'm going to eat it. And your stomach will fill up so quick and you're just miserable.
Straight
and
to
then,
Outback.
Yep. Well, if you listen to Josh Bryant, he just says go to fucking Waffle House.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, right, dude.
Well, and the thing, like you said, once you get to that point, if you stuff yourself really quick like that, you're probably not going to want to eat for another 5 or 6 hours, and you don't have time for that. And people, you know, have to realize if you cut 20 pounds has to go back in you. Mm-hmm. You cut 20 pounds of water, 20 pounds of water has to go back into your cells.
Exactly.
Or your strength is going to suffer. I've always felt a strength. If you know, even making weight, I've definitely screwed up a lot on refeeds to where I get out there the day of and the overhead I'm suffering.
Yeah, dude, everyone says that.
Everything feels like a ton, dude.
The overhead
and you
suffers.
know it when you're warming up, you're cleaning, you're like, oh shit, this is bad. I'm 40 I'm 40 or 50 pounds, you know, this is my last warm up and this is bad. Mm-hmm. And then of course you have the mental aspect of that where you're now like, well, I'm fucked now.
Yep.
So it's hard to override that.
100%.
You know, when you're if you're physically screwed, you're mentally going to be screwed too.
Yeah,
you're in trouble for sure.
Yeah. So okay, where was I at? So what my takeaways were, I don't think I can do any solid food outside anything past like a yogurt during my refeed because I need to get the combination of carbohydrates and water in me without getting to the point where I basically just get constipated. That's what it is. I just get like massive constipation.
So I know a lot of people will do liquid carbs, carbs, you know, to begin with. So I've learned a lot throughout the years.
Yeah.
And, you know, electrolytes and so that was my deal. Is like people balancing electrolytes, carbs, sodium. You know, trying to find a balance of that, get the gut moving. I believe they call it gut motility.
Yep. Yeah.
And then, but without that, you're in big trouble, dude.
Yeah, that's something else I got to mention. So, luckily I started it earlier. Are you familiar with retatrutide? You ever heard that before?
I've heard of it. Never.
Okay, so retatrutide's a GLP-1, but it's a little bit more unique than like semaglutide and stuff because some of the things that it does is besides slowing gastric motility, it actually increases insulin sensitivity, almost like the way metformin does. Sure. Which the other ones don't do that. And it does not seem to have a catabolic effect on muscle tissue. Like things like semaglutide, I don't remember exactly what the numbers were, so I'm just going to go off what I seem to remember. It was like 22% of the weight lost on semaglutide in the clinical study was like muscle mass.
I've heard up to 60%.
Yeah, and that I wouldn't doubt it either. It probably depends on the person.
I've read some like European studies, which they're I feel like they'll give you a little bit more of the truth.
Probably.
Because they're not making the money that American companies are. I've heard up to 60% muscle atrophy, you know, which is insane.
That's
that
like
is
deadly,
so crazy.
Actually. I've never heard of anything that does that so rapidly besides like cancer. Or
and
like
people
disease.
are using it like it's going out of style.
They don't give a fuck. They just want to see that number on the scale go down.
Yeah, let me drop 30 pounds. And I know a lot of people that's dropped 30, 40 pounds in less than 2 months. And I'm like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, and when you see them too, like you can actually see the atrophy too. I see like the muscles in their face, their whole face structure changes. Sure. But anyway, so I was experimenting with the retatrutide and it worked, but the problem I was having was like, yes, it slows gastric emptying, but that means it also slows like you going to the bathroom.
Right.
So I was like, shit, I gotta stop taking this stuff because if I do this too close to the competition, I'm really not going to be able to use the bathroom. So yeah, that stuff. It just has made me think about it. That stuff actually works pretty well, and I know a lot of bodybuilders are using it. And a lot of bodybuilders are using it in place of like insulin or metformin when they take growth hormone to help combat that insulin resistance that they get when they take all that growth hormone. And then it also has the good side effect of like appetite suppression. So if you're obviously dieting for a show, you get the appetite suppression, and it doesn't have the catabolic effect of like the other.
And now is that
GLP-1s.
considered like a peptide?
GLP-1 is a peptide, yeah.
Okay.
Or sorry, retatrutide is a peptide. Yeah, it's pretty cool, pretty interesting. I'm not going to use it again personally, just because it does kind of make me not go to the bathroom, and then that sucks because if I train later in the day, I can feel like my stomach's a little bit full, you know, and I don't like that feeling.
So let me ask you this: so, like, do you think that you tried too many different things? Because it's hard to pinpoint what's what. You just like when people jump on shit, they're like, "I'm going to do this, this, and this." And I'm like, "Well, how are you going to know what works?"
I went too hard for sure. I fasted for too long.
Yeah.
I used the distilled water.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts there.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts, and I was afraid I wasn't going to make weight because of how heavy I was. But now I know, like, that was more so I was worried for no reason because I came in so underweight.
Right.
So yeah, so I learned a lot from this experience. What am I going to change? Well, the first thing I'm going to change is I'm going to try to get my walk around weight a little bit lower.
That's usually a good idea.
Yeah, 191 to 193 is where I kind of want to start my walk around weight, so that way when I cut carbs and I start that process, I can get myself down to like 188 before I do my walk.
You know what percentage that would be? Like body weight percentage that would be at that?
It'd be less than 15%.
No. Pounds.
Oh.
I'm saying what the percentage wise, like what would that be? I'm just curious because like I said, I think anything over 5%. Now, don't get me wrong, guys that do this all the time, 7 to 8% is either going to be, it's still going to be way easier. Every percentage you go over 5, I think it's starting to get rough.
Yeah.
And for me, it's always the last 7 pounds are brutal, dude. That's when the mental strength has to come in to where you're like, hey, I'm just going to sit here until this gets done. It gets rough, obviously, and a lot of people quit. You know, they think they can do it, and they're like, "Fuck this, man."
Well, the discussions we've had, and I've never done it, but you know, you and I have talked about the people that you led through it, and they always start to get panic or fearful
100%
at the last step because they don't think it's working properly,
right?
And they don't have faith in
the process. Sure, yeah,
and they either bail or they do something stupid.
That's when you got to talk.
And
these
then
people
you get frustrated because it's like, if you just do what I tell you,
you got to talk. You got to talk people off the ledge sometimes.
Right.
Like, listen, man, you're very close. And you're about to blow it, man. Like, just get your mind back.
It's like 9%.
Okay.
That's still high.
It's still high.
Still, for sure.
So I cut, like, what was it then? Probably like 11 or 12%.
That's
because I never actually went and looked at the percentage.
And guys do it, you know what I mean? So I can't say it can't be done, but and at some point, as long as I've done it, I think it starts. I don't want to say it gets harder, but
it does get harder when you get older, for sure.
I think it just gets to the point mentally where you're like, man, I'm sick of this shit. I'm getting, and I can definitely speak. I'm only speaking for myself, but it takes a lot of fun out of the competition.
It really does. You're not lying.
Because all you're worried about for weeks, I have to make this fucking weight.
Yep.
And if you don't, then it's over. You know what I mean? Like, you have to go up a division, and you're going to get your ass beat.
It takes about a year to grow into that division if you're diligent.
And I would say that's being pretty nice.
Yeah.
About it.
Well, that's assuming you're already a really good competitor where you're at.
And there's guys that do it. You know what I mean? But there's not a ton of guys that are, let's say in my division of 200 that's going to go over. It happens, yes. That's going to go into a 231 and just dominate.
Yeah.
You know, at that point, you know, let's say I was winning 200s and I went to 231s. I would be lucky to be a top 10 guy. That's my opinion.
Yeah, at least in your first year.
Especially the way the competition is evolving now. I mean, no division's playing around now. I mean, you have women pressing over 300 pounds like it's nothing.
I mean, you got to accumulate that muscle tissue, then you got to condition it.
Yeah, it's a whole different ball game for sure.
Yeah.
So the comp goes, obviously you don't feel good during the comp.
Not at all.
Do you feel like you failed across the board on every event? You could just feel like, fuck, I'm just not good here.
Yeah, I was disappointed in myself in every single event. I will say that I also surprised myself in a way because to for better or for worse, I didn't pull out, and
That's what she said.
For better or for worse, I didn't pull out. And there's a part of me that was thinking, like, maybe you should, man. Like, my blood pressure I could feel was really high.
It's not worth dying over.
Right.
Headed to the hospital
But I did say to myself in my head, I was like, shit, if I'm going to go out, like, I don't want to do it on the way to the hospital. I want to do it here.
Go out with your boots on.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of being facetious and playful in my head. I didn't actually think I was going to die, but I was like, well, I'm here now. I did all this work.
It's the reality of it.
The reality of it, yeah.
Like, this is not Instagram or where everybody's got their highlight reels.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in this long enough, you're probably going to screw up.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're just going to have a bad training cycle. You're going to have a bad competition. You're going to have, and what do you do after that? I mean,
that was my first experience for me. I usually always compete better than I train.
Mm-hmm.
So like you said, you do this long enough, you kind of know, like, all right, am I someone that does really well in training and I kind of undershoot on comp day, or do I overperform? Luckily, I'm someone who, in most cases, I'm someone who overperforms. I usually do better in comp than I do in training.
Mm-hmm.
This is my first time ever where that was in reverse, where I did significantly worse in contest. Now, obviously, I know why, is because I didn't do the things on the back end and
it's
properly.
definitely hard mentally, though. You know what I mean? When especially when you made mistakes. That's how it was for me in Texas. Like, I knew, like, damn, dude, I did it. You know what I mean? I had no one to blame but myself, and no one will ever hear excuses from me.
Right.
And I've talked about this before. The only excuse for me or any of my guys is like, I just got to get stronger, man.
Yeah.
Because
you just fucked up. You weren't good enough.
You come in there with a lot of excuses telling me, well, I could have done. No one wants to hear that shit, and it makes people hate you. And
that's why I led with that. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, if I would have done this, I would have got this place. No, I'm just telling you guys what happened. These are the mistakes that I made. This is what I did poorly and what I think I'm going to do better next time. Yeah. And so I mean, the bottom line is, I just, what I talk about, or what I've said to many people is, being the best of this sport, the training is part of it. It's a big part of it, but also a part of it is figuring out your weight cut.
Sure.
And figuring out your diet, and also just figuring out, like, what does your competition day plan look like, as far as how do you warm up? What supplements are you going to take? What kind of food are you going to have?
It's having a plan.
Having a plan, yeah, like
executing a plan.
And I see so many guys too, like, they're amazing in training.
Sure.
And they show up to contest, and they suck. And I'm just and a big part of that, you could tell, typically it's not like veteran guys, it's newer guys,
right.
Because they don't have the competition day plan set out for them, which I think people underestimate the importance of that. And that comes down to, like I said, the warm-up, the nutrition, like ritualistic based stuff, calming down between events. Like, that's a big one. If you stay up the whole time, like, how do you really think that you can stay on level 9 or 10 for 8 hours in a contest?
Yeah. Well, I just had this conversation. Went to a jiu-jitsu comp a couple weeks ago. I work with a lot of jiu-jitsu guys.
Mm-hmm.
My son's heavily involved in that. Wasn't competing this time, but a couple guys, it didn't go as they planned.
Mm-hmm.
And guys are looking for advice, on stuff like that, on competing. And I truly believe that, competing, being a game day guy, that is kind of like a built skill.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you just said, we see it all the time. Guys and girls that have great training cycles, and dude, they're looking so good, and then they just fall apart today. Whether it's mentally, they can't. Too much pressure. They can't sleep. They can't. You got to learn how to turn that shit off, and know how to turn it on as well. And I think that's a skill in itself. You know what I mean? And I think the only way you evolve that and you sharpen that is competing.
Mm-hmm.
You need a lot of road under the tires, man.
I agree.
And then here's how it is. And the higher the level you go, that's like a new skill set. So it's like belts in jiu-jitsu. It's the only thing I could, you know what I mean? It's one thing to compete very well as a novice. Mm-hmm. Well, then when you get to the open, you might get your ass beat, and now you have to you have to learn how to lose.
Mm-hmm.
The last Floridas I did, it's probably the worst I've ever finished at Floridas.
Yeah, you told me that. Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't act any different. I went and ate Mexican, and I drank margaritas afterwards, and we had a great time. No different than if I won it, because at the end of the day, no one gives a shit to hear this, and they don't want to hear your sob story.
Right.
I've been around guys that when you go eat afterwards and all they want to talk about it, I'm like, I don't want to talk about this shit, dude.
We just trained for all this time and then competed. It's over.
I've been training for weeks for this garbage. I don't want to talk about this shit. It is what it is. Whether you won, you got second, third, you got 10th, it's really all the same, man. It's just, and it's
agreed.
Take your shit back with you and sharpen your skills up, man. Like, figure out how to compete and be better, and your training cycle and your weight cut cycles, and it all has to come together, especially at a high level.
Yeah.
And some guys just seems like they've got it all figured out. It's a great competitor when you see that.
Yeah. There's a bunch of guys that just seem to make it look so easy and seamless, and almost like they're not even trying in a way. I mean, they are, but it just seems like they've got it.
So those guys you refer to, are they veteran competitors?
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, and to your point, you say you see a lot of kids or competitors that just kind of like they train well, but then they fall apart. I mean, I think having a good coach and veteran, seasoned competitors. I mean, we've taken a lot of guys to powerlifting contests, and we said, okay, this is what's going to happen, and we lay it all out for them, and that's exactly how it goes. I mean, a lot of things are in timing. Like you say, you can't stay up on cloud 9 for 8 hours straight. You have to turn it off in between events.
Yes.
And
it's very important to be able to figure out how to do that.
And I've seen guys, a couple, or one guy in particular that I think had to learn to tone it down a little bit because he was so amped up. Would be Nick Hodge. Hodge brothers.
The Hodge brothers,
like back in the day, both those guys
I haven't
are
heard that name in a long time.
Dude, those guys are absolute freaks. You know what I mean?
Are they still competing?
I don't think so.
I haven't seen them.
I don't know, but I'm just telling you from what I saw when he was young. I mean, those guys are strong as hell. But Nick would come in so amped up, and like I've seen him kind of fall down on events because he's like 211.
But this one
goes to 11. So, but I think over time he had to learn to like, man, he's a great competitor. He's strong. I mean, that guy is a monster. But I think over time he had to learn that skill of this is great, but it's too much. You know what I mean? Where's the sweet spot? You know what I mean in that?
Yeah, like just not being out of control.
Right. Because it can hurt you. You know what I mean? And then you have all that training and the power's there, but it's kind of breaking the wheels loose. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, it's too much, man. And I saw him do that a couple times when he was young, and he was young at the time. I mean, I think Nick, and he was a big kid, man. Like Nick was like 19, 20 years old when I was seeing this probably.
They're big. Yeah, they're big guys.
He's a big boy, man. And Zach is a freak. You know what I mean? Was probably one of the lighter guys ever to do some very high end stuff at the Arnold and stuff like
Lightning?
that.
Is that where they're at?
They were. I know they're up in that area. I mean, lots of crazy good competitors have come out of there.
Oh yeah, people move there for that gym.
Yeah, I mean, what's his name? It was on Worlds for years. Shit, just retired.
Rob Kearney, yeah,
Rob. Yeah, all those guys came out of that camp, and back in the day, that was with Poundstone. All those guys were in Connecticut. Carlos Reyes, what a freak athlete! So I mean, they had something going on in the water up there, man. Because they were spitting out, and they still do got.
They got some good lightweights up there,
like the mullet guy.
World's strongest mullet.
Ramirez.
Ross Ramirez is up there too. He's a good 80.
Mike Ramirez, is that right? He's from there.
Is he? I thought he lived in Florida.
No.
Oh, geez.
He's from he's in Lightning.
Okay. Yeah.
Had dealt with a lot of injuries in the last couple of years, but he's back doing really well now. So good for him.
Yeah.
But a lot of good. But that goes back to a great camp. That's one of probably the biggest and best strongman gym in America. I would say hands down.
Lightning.
Yeah, absolutely. That
is up there. What
that
do you
is
think
a
about?
30,000 square foot facility.
Yeah, the place is amazing.
Yeah.
I've never been there, but I've seen their virtual
It
tours.
is insane.
People who live up there are so spoiled, man.
Very lucky.
What about that gym in Washington? That seems to have a lot of pros there and looks pretty incredible too. You know what I'm talking about? Dungeon.
Yeah. Oh yeah, another one. I think Lightning is older.
Lightning's definitely older.
Yeah, facility. So a newer one, yeah. So, but it goes back to your surroundings. Your like you said, your coaches, your crew, which is
That's
very
a whole
important.
other conversation we could talk about. I love talking about that.
Very important in strongman culture, as we talked about.
Culture, yep.
And I think it takes years to really build a real culture, because you'll see some cultures, they look great at first, and then weird shit starts to happen as far as like you get people that have what's the word that would be? They have hierarchies.
Oh,
And I for one, don't
Cliques.
like that myself.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when people get put on these pedestals, and in here, you don't. I don't care if you're a pro, or everybody's the same here, man.
Yeah.
And because I think that breeds like just some weird shit, man. At the end of the day,
It does. It puts people in a position where they feel like they are owed something,
yeah,
and they're not.
entitlement.
Entitlement, yeah.
Yeah, like I don't think anybody's. I'm gonna load, people's weight just like a guy that's just starting here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just the way I go about it. Everybody, and listen, whatever people want to do, that's fine with me.
Well, that's a good way to go about it.
Yeah, I think that keeps everybody on a very respectful level.
My last training cycle for America's Strongest Man, I trained with my friend Chris, who just got into strongman last year, and he's very much a novice. And him and I trained like every day together, side by side. Like I changed his weights, he changed my weights. And that was like you talk about the culture. Like what I think about when I think about culture in my gym is like what would I have wanted when I first started?
Right.
What kind of person would I have wanted around me, helping me when I first started? And so I just try to emulate the version of what I would have wanted that person to be. And I would want somebody that treated me, that didn't look at me as a lesser person because I wasn't as strong as them, or feel like they weren't invited to train with me until they were stronger. For me, the only thing that I expect from somebody is that, like, if you say you're going to be here to train with me at 3 p.m., you're going to be here at 3 p.m.
Yeah, just have accountability.
Be accountable and, like, just take it as seriously as I take it, and I'll respect you the same way I respect the strongest guy in the gym.
Right.
So that's the kind of culture I like.
And you're seeing a lot of different stuff now. There's a lot more gyms. In Florida now, there's a ton of them now.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I don't care. We have there's people doing strongman in Lakeland. That's good for them.
Yeah.
Because we're not for everybody, and I'm just fine with that.
Exactly.
You
don't want everybody here.
No, and I damn sure don't want everybody. People know, like, you fuck up here,
It'll mess the
buddy,
culture up, man.
You ain't gonna be here long.
You get one chance.
Yeah, I do not care.
Pretty
you
much.
come in here tearing my shit up, you're not gonna last here long.
Yep.
Stuff breaks on accident, no problem. You break stuff because you're an idiot, you're probably gonna hit that door real quick.
Yeah.
And that's just my take on it. And the good thing about it now is there's other places for you to go.
Well, you got
what I mean?
such
You don't have
nice
to be
stuff
here.
in here, man. Like, people got to understand and appreciate what you have, what you put into this.
Well, and none of this stuff's cheap anymore. You know
No,
what I mean?
none of it's cheap. Even the cheap shit's not cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and gone are the days. You still got people that are making homemade stuff, but anymore you don't have to do that. We've
Right.
talked about this many times. We started with all homemade shit because there were no companies making it, or there was very few.
Yeah.
And at the time, even then, we couldn't afford it. You know what I mean? So now,
Right.
And even my crew here, man, I love the group of guys I have, and if we see we need something for the group, we all go in and buy it.
Yep.
It ends up, does the gym own it? Does it? I don't care. You know what I mean? Like,
I love that you say that, man, because we do some similar stuff like that at my gym.
yeah, because I can't afford to buy everything you need.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the way it is now, you've got stuff that comes in these big circles. And like now, well, this is in. I'm like, well, shit, we just spent $1,000 on this, and now I gotta buy this shit.
You're talking about like what events getting popular and
Sure.
Yeah, dude, I know what you mean, and I hate.
And some
I
of
hate
it,
that.
some of it's crazy expensive. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
if like a Conan's wheel comes in, like if you get a real good Conan's wheel, buddy, they're huge, number one, and they're going to be very expensive.
Very expensive.
I'm grateful for my guys, all my guys. I'll tell you what. I think we have a good crew here. We don't have a big crew here, and I'm okay with that. But the guys here will do anything in the world for each other, and that means a lot more to me than having 40 people show up at a training.
That's worth so much more than money, man.
And those are guys that are going to be around a long time too.
Yeah.
These are guys that are going to support their teammates and so
Show up to contests and sport, travel.
That's worth so much more than money. Like you can't buy that kind of camaraderie.
Yeah.
I say unfortunately, but fortunately, because if you could buy it, it wouldn't mean anything. Then,
Right.
Sure.
But yeah, I know what you mean. Like I just bought the silver dollar attachments.
We did too.
Yeah, because you need it for nationals, right?
Yeah,
Which brand did you get?
Cerberus sitting right there.
Dude, I wanted to buy this. I wanted to buy the Cerberus, but like when I went to go purchase them, the page was gone. I think they're all sold out.
It could be. We just got those, 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
maybe? Something like that.
They're like $350. They weren't too bad, right?
No, not bad at all. And even with shipping and stuff, shout out Ken from Cerberus.
Shout out to Ken.
But and I love Cerberus stuff. I really do.
I do too. It's high quality.
It's good quality shit, and we can afford it. You know what I mean?
They're very realistic.
There's some other brands out there that I would absolutely love, but they're $200-$300 more.
Yep, I know what you mean. The black ones.
Yeah, and great stuff. Great stuff from a great guy, but
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
that's a little out of our range because, just because we bought those, like we have a Kratos bar.
Yeah.
It's expensive as hell.
Well, when it comes to the silver dollar things, man, like the way I look at it'll use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, I stayed out of that conversation because I've never done one. So, and if people can do it, because that's some of the arguments I had, or that I saw where people are like, well, you can't belt clean, but you can hitch the shit out of a deadlift. You can do stuff that's not acceptable.
Well, you're still just using your body,
right,
on a hitch.
True.
You're not using any equipment when you're hitching.
Right.
True. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't really have an opinion on it either way. I don't do it, so
yeah,
I just don't care about it.
So I do it because it's allowed, but
Sure.
I wish it wasn't allowed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't like it. I think it's an improper use of a piece of equipment. I think a belt's made for something in particular, and you're using it.
I feel like for myself, I'm not a good axle cleaner anyway.
Yeah.
Like I love log. I'm a strict presser, and if I can get an axle up, I'm okay at pressing. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be fine pressing, but I struggle with cleans on an axle.
Yeah,
Like,
I do too.
I do not like the shit.
I mean, I don't think anybody loves the axle.
Well, I think it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, our mobility.
Sure.
I think
for sure.
your mobility
That
limits
definitely
your
messes it
comfort of, the way your arms, forearms, wrists are placed
Well, and
on a fixed axle.
and I think there's an up and down to that. Like, so my mobility is bad, but it puts me in a great position.
horrible.
It is. But I'm a strict presser, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it helps me, over fucking develop brachials and
Yep.
all this shit over the years. Like I'm able to strict press,
No, your overhead pressing is exceptional.
especially when it comes to, strict pressing.
Mm-hmm.
I could hang with probably a lot of guys.
Yes.
Even some of the top guys, but they've learned a lot of manipulation. You know what I mean? Like, you got guys that are so good at split jerks now. So efficient.
It's a
at
different
strict-
game now.
And now you got the behind the neck. What do you think about that?
Actually, I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna compete at
I
nationals
haven't.
this year.
Yeah, I haven't tried it.
I'm gonna give it a try.
But you're seeing people's weights. I mean, now you got guys that are. Let's say I would dare to say you got a guy. Let's say he's a 320 legit overhead press that are now being able to behind the neck axle 375.
I think I saw Lucas
400.
Hatton, if I'm not mistaken. I can look this up real quick. I want to say I saw Lucas Hatton. Let me just look it up. I want to say 600 pounds, but that doesn't sound right.
It was definitely over 5 because I remember that, and it may have been close to that, and which in itself is very impressive. But it's just another evolution that now it's legal now.
Well, do you remember how Elliot Holtz used to press? He would use the jerk
Oh yeah,
very well.
dude.
Very
Extremely technical.
Because people would be warming up, and then you would hear that stomp, and you would look around, and he was
Very technical guy.
executing that jerk maneuver.
545 pounds.
Yeah, so damn near 550 behind.
And I
the
think
neck.
he's done more than that because I just saw him post a training video not too long ago I know it was more than his competition press he was saying. So almost a 600 pound press, dude.
That's crazy.
I'm going to
What?
say for myself, if I learned that, I would do like 600.
Immediately.
I'm just telling you.
First
I'm going
time.
to go out on a limb and say that's probably what would happen.
Yeah, it's. I'm gonna give it. I've done a lot of behind the neck strict pressing as an accessory movement, but I'm excited to give it a shot from blocks.
Well, it's almost like you're going to have to, because now you've got guys that are going to bust your ass. I was even, when I was thinking about trying to jump into Masters this year, but I'm just not there yet. You know what I mean? With my injury and stuff, I'm definitely coming along. But I thought about, I was like, this is something I'm gonna have to look at because
So where are you at now with that?
I'd say about 80%.
Okay.
Somewhere in there. Like tonight was off the box. I did 420 for
Something like
5.
that, yeah.
Squats.
Yeah, and that's the heaviest I've been in a year and a half, and I felt good.
Okay.
So like I'm on my way, but for me to try to jump in the next 5 weeks, it would be very stupid.
Yeah, pushing the throttle a little too hard.
You're talking about, I've been under no weight. I've pressed next to none.
Mm-hmm.
I've deadlifted nothing over 500. So, I would have to do a 700-pound silver dollar, which if I'm healthy, okay.
Yeah, probably not too bad for you.
I've done well over that. But for the point I'm in, I got to be smart, dude. And, it sucks, man, because, I had a vision of winning every Masters until I'm 50.
I know.
And I won 4 of them. And, I know the couple that I missed, obviously can't say that I would win, but I would have been just fine.
Yeah, I think a good goal for you, where you would do really well, is also that lightweight Masters at OSG.
Yeah, I was
220 and under.
And they just came out with that. You know what I mean? So that's definitely something that I would like to do if I can get back healthy.
I can see you dominating that.
And I'm not gonna. I don't know about that because those guys. I mean, it's getting crazy, but I would like my chances to do okay.
Sure,
you know what I mean. I would be okay. Like I didn't win multi-Masters titles just because there was no one there.
Of course, no.
I mean, and now, especially now that the Masters is even evolving. Like, so now you got guys that are in their 40s and 50s that you're like, dude, that guy's still legit, even in an open class. Mark Bevins, I always bring that guy up because he won so many titles as a 231 Masters back in the day. But that guy, when you look at him now, Mark's got to be in his mid-50s, easy. He's still a 300-plus pound over. I mean, this guy still could sign up in a local 231 event and bust.
That's incredible.
Some bust some ass.
Humble some
To be able
people.
to do that at that age, no matter what weight you're at, is impressive.
And he's got shoulder issues, like everybody starts to get wore down and stuff. But when you look at it for what it is, it's like, holy shit, man, that guy's a freak.
He's exceptional.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about, too. He's not American, right?
No, he is. He's from Georgia. Yeah, he lives in Georgia.
I might be thinking of somebody else.
Yeah, he's a freak, dude. Freak. And still very strong to this day. I know up until not long ago, I believe he was still a 700 puller.
Oh, wow.
In his mid-50s.
That's pretty
And how
awesome.
much did you say he weighs?
He's a 231 guy. But when you look at him, I mean, he's just dense, man. Old, like, war muscle, dude. Like, this dude's been in the game a long time.
Mature muscle mass.
Yeah. He's one of those cats, like, you grabbed hold of him, you would probably know you made a mistake.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it would be probably bad news.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So, let's move along, dude. And, future endeavors for you. You've got some stuff coming up you want to talk about?
Yeah. So, when I looked at a lot of coaches that own their own gym and then also have an online training platform, they've kind of separated them. So, like, for example, I'll use like Shane Germain from MST. So he is obviously MST online, but then he owns some gyms on the side that are not, labeled as MST. And so I was thinking, I'm like, I really need to think about who I am online. What do I do? Like, from the outside, and people that don't know me in person, they just see me online. They see this presence. Like, who am I? And what do I do? And what is my identity in this space? And so I had to think about it for some time and think about, like, what would I call my business? What would represent what I do and what I offer and who I am online? What would that name be? And how would I decide that? So what I came to the conclusion of is what I do online with my content and my coaching and the things that I produce is I help get people ready for their competition. Now, when I say the word competition, I look at that as a much broader spectrum than you might be thinking. So when I say competition, I believe that you're always competing. Always competing. So when you wake up in the morning, you are competing against viruses and bacteria that are literally trying to infect you and kill you. Right. So how do you fight against that? Well, you fight against that by being healthier and harder to kill than the bacteria. Right. And you are also competing when you go to your job. Most people, you are competing probably for a raise, for a promotion. You're competing in some way, hopefully you are, to be better a year from now, 2 years from now than you are right now. And so then we can look at this as like, okay, if you're a competitor, obviously you're competing in your sport. You strip away all the things that we have in the first world, and what do you have left? you have your mind and your body, and you're going to use those to compete for resources. And if you are not better than the person you're competing against, you're going to die. So when I made my brand, and when I think about the kind of people that I train and in who I'm working with, yes, I work with a lot of strongman competitors, a lot of power lifters, a lot of athletes, but I also just work with like a lot of people who really just want to be ready to compete in the things that I was talking about just now, just for life.
Mm-hmm.
So I named my online presence, my online business, Competitor Ready.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I like that.
our slogan is strongman, powerlifting, stay ready. So what is that? Competitor Ready works with people who are strongman competitors. They work with people who are powerlifters and people who just want to stay ready for the competition of whatever that is in your life. And so that's what I branded myself as online, because I feel like that's what I did, that's what I do. The content I produce, the people I work with, I'm helping you get ready for competition.
That's
So
your
this-
niche.
This is like a rebranding, basically.
Yeah, nothing.
Would you say that?
Yeah, a rebranding because my online business was just Schulze Strength,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of abandoned that name many years ago. But that's what my LLC is under. And when I was younger, it was cool because like Schulze Strength kind of sounds good when it rolls off the tongue, and I had this like cool logo, it was like a silhouette of like my face in a shadow.
It's not very cool.
It's really not now. It's not now. But it was interesting. But I didn't want it to be about me anymore.
Right.
I didn't want my team to have my name.
Mhm.
I wanted it to be just not my name. I just didn't like that anymore.
No, I get it.
When I was younger, it was cool to have your business named after yourself. But yeah, so it's basically a rebrand. Rebranding my website, actually putting on the different services that I'll offer, because right now I just have online coaching as a service. But I will have obviously the online coaching. I will have some templated programs. I will have some programs that are updated weekly that are like, for example, like if you could buy like a 12-week program from me, or you could subscribe to my program that updates weekly, that sends out new workouts with new information that comes out every week, and you can communicate with me that way, and it's almost like a workout of the week kind of thing. I'll obviously have some apparel for sale. I will start doing some nutrition coaching as well. I don't want to push that too hard until I finish my certification, just because I feel like you should have something that says you know what you're doing.
Of course.
Even though most people don't, and honestly I don't necessarily feel like I need it, I just feel like it'll look nicer. And
Now, will
anything
this
else on
be strictly through your website, or will this be
Yes.
available on any apps whatsoever, or just through your website?
So through my website,
Okay.
the app that I use to deliver my coaching has been the same for years. I use Coach RX.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that'll be where you get your coaching from and
Okay.
stuff. And all my clients have that. My athletes have
Gotcha.
that. But yeah, I'm not going to develop any app or anything like that. Number one, because if it's not broke, don't fix it. Coach RX works very, very well.
Well, that's what I was referring to. I didn't know if
Yeah.
you just had a website that you strictly go through, or if you use an app for.
Okay,
your
I got
class.
you. Yeah. So I'll have my gym has a website right now.
Okay.
And then I will just I'll keep the gym website obviously because I need that. But then I'll have a website in my link tree for my online coaching
Gotcha.
services.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, which I do right now. I have it on there, and what's really exciting for me and I'm very grateful for is I'm to the point now where I actually make most of my money coaching online than I do in person. So I'm kind of it's been really hard for me to do because it's scary, but I've transitioned. I'm starting to transition, taking time out of the gym from in-person coaching, and focusing that online. And then also, and you'll know what I'm talking about here. It's hard to work on your business when you're working in your business every day. And I really want to grow my gym, and I really want to help build the community and build the culture. But it's so hard when I'm training people all day. I'm updating programs. I'm training myself.
Right.
I've got all these other things that I'm
It's a
doing.
balance, basically trying to find a balance. And
Yes, trying to find the balance. And so what I've done, and I haven't really lost any clients doing this, I have had to, I guess, cut down on their frequency, which I guess maybe it's bad for business, maybe not. I think it's good for business in that gain. I'm cutting some days out of my schedule where I train, and those days are being allocated towards working on my online clients, working on my online business, and building my gym.
Right.
And so what does building my gym look like? It could even be something as simple as like researching cooler lights for the gym, or like what paint works best in this kind of lighting. Like,
well, there's definitely a science to all that.
Yeah.
I mean, there really is. It's like no different than a restaurant or there's big science on casinos and stuff that works, to keep
Colors,
people.
just cleaning
color
my
schemes.
floors more often.
Color schemes, red, blue, green, yellow.
Exactly. Like just making my gym cooler, making it a better place to train, which I just simply don't have the time for right now. I have enough time to like keep it clean and keep shit organized in there and make sure everybody has their training and programming.
Right.
I basically
outside
have
of that-
I basically have like a perfect template. Like this is perfection where we are.
I can tell, man. I mean,
these wood paneled walls. I mean,
you've done. I envy this so much. I have so much respect for you.
it is
just for
definitely the
this in
best
here.
in
Well, he has a
Wood.
system he's developed. If you go to talk to him and he gives you a certain look, you just know to turn around and walk away because he's working on his client training and everything.
I literally
I have
do.
a similar thing. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I really do have a thing to where, like, if I'm training for a comp, I will start to wear headphones, and that everybody knows. Basically, don't talk to me.
I don't pay attention. I interrupt him anyway.
He does. Yes,
and
punch
I've
him
done
in
that,
his face.
and I feel bad sometimes because I feel like if somebody needs me,
But you have to do that.
I know
because
I've got to evolve. I got to get better.
You have to make people respect your time because
right.
it's a very blurry line.
It is
Because people do have access to you. You know what I mean? And at some point, you have to make people respect your time for your training. Because,
You're absolutely right.
Because they don't. I don't want this to sound wrong, but people care about themselves, and I understand that. And I care about my training as well. So when it's time for me to really buckle down, I'd probably put some headphones on and like leave me the fuck alone let me get my stuff into it. It's still important to me.
Yeah, give me my 2 hours here.
Yeah, and I understand it's not to other people, but you kind of got to force your hand on that stuff.
You do, and it's something I struggle with, and I do need to get better at it.
I mean, do you feel the need? It's kind of a weird question, and I don't want this to come off wrong, but
No, not at all.
like on rebranding, do you feel like that comes from realizing you've made mistakes? You know what I mean? Like, or you just want to go a different path? You know what I mean? Because I know I've.
What do you mean by that? By that exactly?
So like, it could be anywhere from shit you've done online. You know what I mean?
Oh, I
Or-
see what you mean.
You see what I mean?
Like when I
your
used to post
perception.
crazy memes and shit.
Yeah, like your perception. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because at some point, people might think that that's all you are. You're just a guy that makes funny memes
Yeah,
or fucked up memes.
and I
or-
was for a while.
Sure, and it does work, but it depends. You don't want that. To me, I don't want that. I have a very non-existent,
Yeah, you don't.
my online presence
You
is
just kind of
none.
watch things.
Yeah,
You
it's
kinda just sit back and
Even
watch.
with my training, I don't post
Yeah.
most of anything. I'd rather just show up and like fuck some people up if I can.
Yeah, I know. Just kind of like be the guy that didn't say anything.
Yeah,
The sleeper.
And that's
Yeah.
why I was really adamant about ASM. I promoted my self-competing a lot, and I promoted the competition a lot, and I let everybody know that I was competing. But I was very adamant on not talking shit.
yeah.
Because what happened to me, I didn't want to go back and be like, fuck, I feel like such an idiot.
And we've talked about it.
So I didn't
before.
talk
Sure.
shit. I didn't say I was the best. I didn't say I was going to win anything. I just promoted my presence in the competition.
Well,
and
I
that's
think a
all.
lot of people that do that, they still get away with it
Mhm.
in a way because there's not a lot of people anymore that'll be like, well, what happened? You said you
Right.
was the baddest motherfucker walking. What happened? You know,
Right.
which I think should happen more
People should get checked on their shit.
because, if you go in there like, and you're just talking all this shit and you go and shit the bed, people are going to be like, they love to see it, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's human nature. They're like, oh, this motherfucker, dude.
Well,
this
what you'll do
guy's
is
talking
you'll
so
see
much
people.
shit.
You'll see that little paper airplane in the corner of your post. People send it out
Yeah.
to 250 other
Oh,
people.
100%, yeah. Like forwarding your shit, and, which rightfully so. And some people just don't care. You know what I mean? They'll just talk shit, all the way to the bank, dude. You know what I mean? Even if they do bad, they're like. But I think a lot of that people get away with it because people are like, hey, bud, what happened to all that shit you were talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
And I didn't want that to happen to me because I have done that in the past. I mean, I think most people have talked shit before, and it comes back and bite them. It's to some degree. But to answer your question on the rebranding, no, that wasn't even something I considered. Honestly, it was more of like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's on the tip of my tongue. Brand identification. So when you look me up online, you'll see like Zach Schulze, you'll see Bare Iron Barbell. Well, Bare Iron Barbell is like my home. It's like my passion. It's my in-person business, but it actually has nothing to do with what I do online. It's my brick and mortar place. So I wanted something that was my identity online that captured and represented the way that I create content and what I do as a coach online.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because Bare Iron Barbell is a cool name, I think, but it doesn't sound like an online coach. It sounds like a gym,
Right.
You know, and it is a gym. So I wanted something that, like I said, like that when people went to my website, they like knew exactly what I did. They knew like what kind of people I'm working with, the kind of content that I produce, you know, and then like if they and it's a completely different audience, because Bare Iron Barbell is really only relevant to people that live within like 5 miles of the gym, 10 miles of the gym.
Right.
Where Competitor Ready, like I've got clients that are in the UK, Australia,
Nice.
Canada, all over the United States. So like a Competitor Ready is more of a global brand.
Right.
That made it very, when people looked at it, I wanted people to know exactly what it was that I did. So it says strongman, powerlifting, and then stay ready underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I showed you a picture of the logo.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of tethers my in-person brand a little bit, because it's the same color scheme, black, white, and red. And then it's got like it could be from any animal, but it's got, I'll show you when we're done. It's got like claw marks in the background.
Okay.
That look like it could be from some sort of animal with claws, a bear, a wolf, or whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to have like a clearly identifiable brand online that was that people wouldn't be confused with, like, is this a gym? Is this an apparel company? Is this a coach or whatever?
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah, and branding is really everything.
Yeah, I'm learning.
I mean, it truly is like, you know, it can, like when you're talking about that, like with my gorilla head that I've had for 20 years,
which is sick.
I wanted it to be very recognizable.
Mm-hmm.
And my stuff is umbrellaed for sure. Apparel, my gym, you know, training, everything's kind of umbrellaed under one thing, and I'm fine with that. And, you know, people do it differently, you know what I mean? But there's definitely something to be said about, because really branding is everything. Like, whether it's restaurants, whatever, like, you know, you see Golden Arches, you know what that is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Very recognizable, and it's really a hard thing to do.
It is.
A lot of like, especially with apparel, a lot of people think, well, I'm gonna have a T-shirt brand. I'm like, go ahead.
So you're just gonna jump in, and everyone's gonna love their shit.
Yeah,
Right.
you're gonna, and that's a science in itself.
Yeah, it is, man.
And I definitely, that's probably one of the reasons I've had a very low presence online, is because I don't want that just to be, you know, attached to me.
Right.
I do own it. I do design everything, but I want it to go well above that. You know what I mean? Where people like, even people that hate me have some of my shit on.
Yeah.
I'll take your money.
I don't
too.
like Scott, but I like his shirts.
Yeah, that's cool, and I'm fine with that. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not for everybody, and nobody is. You know what I mean? So I understand that.
Yeah,
very
yeah.
well.
And I think you're more. I don't actually know. I'm just going to make an assumption. Do you do a lot of online coaching, or just like a little bit?
Some, and I think I'm very limited to what I do, because I don't want to say I go above and beyond, but almost I kind of do, because I don't do any templates.
Mm-hmm.
I tailor everything to that athlete.
Which takes a lot of time and effort.
It absolutely does. So sign up with me. I am the best in the world. And that's why I do limit, and that probably makes me a little different
It's
in that
very
aspect.
smart to do that.
But it is very time consuming, and I think people that, once they see what I do, they either get it or they don't.
Yeah.
I don't do templates. I'm very, I don't know how to explain this, but I'm more interested in keeping the person mentally on top.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is, you know, I've got guys that work in all kinds of shit, whether it's blue collar stuff, and there's a lot of moving parts in programming for someone like that. So if they work outside for 10 hours all day, we live in Florida, it's 100 degrees. We're under a heat dome right now, as they call it. So it feels like over 110 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
I have to take that in consideration day by day, because if I don't, and I wrote this shit out 4 weeks ago, the guy comes in, he's fucking tired, he didn't get a lot of sleep, he worked a 12-hour shift, and I had these numbers from a month ago, and this guy's failing this. Now I got a guy that has no confidence in himself.
Yep.
I'll say it all day long. Give me someone that has a physical injury over somebody that's mentally screwed, because I can still work around that. You get somebody that's very disappointed in their training. Like, I'm always disappointed in John's training, and so is he.
Always has been, yeah.
I mean, but you know what I mean? Like, if you can keep someone, like, so I know day by day, I talk to people day by day on their training.
Yeah.
Very time consuming. Not a lot of people do this.
Agreed.
But this is the template that I use. and it's like, hey man, how you feel? And I need real-time feedback. Like, man, I'm tired as fuck. I had all this shit going on. You know, I had a lot of stuff to do over the weekend. I don't even say anything. I was like, okay, and then I'll write it out based on that. So
Gotcha.
I may pull those numbers back a little bit without even saying, like, hey man, let's, because I call it punching the clock, punching that ticket. Let's at least get something out of them where they mentally feel fine. Unless, you know, I had plans from 4 weeks ago, and it's like, well, this is where your numbers show. That's not real life.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then you get a guy that's like, dude, I fucking missed every lift. And now you're trying to rebuild this guy's confidence or this girl's confidence, and that's super hard.
You're exactly right. And that's why I had to scale back my in-person, because I do something similar. So I make training programs a half week at a time for people.
Sure.
So I make them Monday through Wednesday and then Thursday through Sunday. And like you said, with communication with them, I talk to everybody almost every day. Not everybody responds to me every day, believe it or not. I usually get left on red more than people get left on red from me.
That happens.
Yeah. Which is okay, because I mean, if you don't need me and you're filling out your program and everything's going good, then okay, like everything's fine. I'm at least touching base with you or trying to.
Right.
Yeah, I update everything a half week at a time usually. And to your point, exactly what you said about, like, if you made a template for somebody that's like 4 weeks, like so much can, especially in strongman.
Absolutely.
Powerlifting's a little bit different.
A lot more moving parts.
Yeah, I feel like in powerlifting you could probably do like maybe 2 weeks at a time, especially if there's somebody who doesn't have like a job that mentally or physically fucks them all the time.
Right.
You could probably do 2 weeks at a time. But with strongman, like I really feel like I have to like just give you two days in advance. Check on your notes and your videos that you send me, see how that looked, and do the next 2 days. Because if you, like you said, if you make things too far in advance, like let's say you had a girl do a heavy yoke on the 12th, right? And you know, it gets to like the 21st and she's still pretty fatigued and you weren't expecting that.
Right.
Which could very well happen. Sure. Especially if she's on like her menstrual cycle or whatever emotional or physical issue she might be having at the time. She's not going to be ready for another challenging yoke session, you know, in 2 weeks.
Right.
Which I wouldn't have her do a heavy yoke session in 2 weeks, but maybe it's a speed session, right? And a lot of times what I'll give to people is I'll say, I want you to do 4 to 6 sets using a weight that you could finish 50 feet in 8 to 10 seconds. So you're letting the time stamp dictate the load. If I had you do that 6 weeks ago, the goal is to hopefully add maybe 3, 4, 5% to that load that we had last time. Well, if you're still screwed up from that yoke, or you feel just not recovered, you're probably not going to be able to add weight to that. Right. So maybe instead we go for like a distance run, or I just change the implement in general. Like maybe we don't use the yoke, maybe use something that's a little bit lighter, just relative load wise, because you know the yoke can go pretty damn heavy on.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I'll change it to a sandbag. You know, something to where you can still go really fast and we can challenge you, but the relative load is significantly lighter. Where maybe the girl can run with like a 400-pound yoke. Obviously, she's not carrying a 400-pound sandbag. Maybe she's doing like 130, 140. So she's still able to get that RPE really high. Like she's really throttling it. She's really moving fast. But central nervous system-wise and just like skeletal system-wise, she's not having the crushing weight of a 400-pound yoke. She has a sandbag, which is way lighter, but the intensity can still be high.
Yeah.
Just an example.
I mean, like I said, it's all in balance on everything. And over the years, I've learned a lot. I've made a lot of mistakes, you know, coaching and even with our training we used to do. Like there's shit we did back in the day we would never do nowadays.
When you're younger, you can do a lot
especially
more
when especially when we were doing straight conjugate, you know, and just strictly conjugate. And I love conjugate, but we do a modified conjugate now where we're trying to be a little bit smarter on things.
Yeah.
Especially with age.
And I actually, on that token with conjugate, I actually ran a conjugate block for the first time my last training cycle for ASM, and I really, truly enjoyed it. And I truly believe that if you do it the right way, it's the best style of training for strongman.
Yeah, I like, you know, I kind of say that we do like a modified conjugate linear periodization kind of blend to where it keeps people moving and it keeps it from getting boring. You know, we have 50-something bars here.
Yeah.
It's conjugate, you know what I mean? We're constantly changing bars or chains and, you know, cycling bands through and stuff that's evolved throughout, you know, And it's always something different, which I think keeps people more interested in it.
It does, makes it more fun.
I mean, that's one of the main reasons I think we both kind of got out of powerlifting. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff that went to it too, but it was just getting boring to me.
Same here.
And strongman is always something different. So I just like the athleticism a little bit more.
Yeah, you can hit 50 PRs a year in strongman.
And as far as powerlifting, we still do all the same shit we did in powerlifting. We really do.
Right.
You know,
well, there's one point that I wanted to bring up, and it's something that we've spoken about and agreed on.
Mm-hmm.
We don't pre-program deload days or weeks.
No. I do. Yeah, I do not believe in that. I don't think John does either.
No, that's what I'm saying. We agreed on that. It's like, there's some systems that say, okay, every however many fourth week, you need to take a deload.
Yeah.
I just don't agree with that, depending on your, like you say.
I would agree with that too. I think the only time that's relevant is when you have like a program that you bought online that just kind of makes it dummy-proof so you don't hurt yourself.
Right. It's template stuff. And I think, maybe for a newer person that's okay. Mm-hmm. But I forget who said it, but like it was somebody who was like, on the days, sometimes you might have somebody programmed for a deload, but they're on an upswing. So why am I going to pull that back until we need to? Somebody said they used the term, and I like it, like when the fire's hot, you cook.
Yeah.
So it's like
if you got a full tank of gas, then
that day comes and you'll see it. Somebody comes in and their warm ups are like nothing. You're like, let's hit this shit today, dude. So it doesn't matter. Even if I did think like maybe we need a deload, but they come in physically, they're firing, they're mentally firing. Hell yeah, I would rather have a really heavy, good PR maybe, and just go home. You know what I mean? Than if I said, we got to pull you back. And there's a time and place for that, you know what I mean? But the body and the mind will tell you when you need that.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my opinion. But a lot of people that do templates, and I think a lot of coaches got into it as a lazy way to program.
100%.
Because on that deload day, you ain't got to do shit. Right. You're just like, hey, we're going to do this at 50%.
Yep.
Do this, and this, and go home. But is that beneficial to the athlete?
Probably
in my
not.
opinion, probably not.
I rarely program deloads for people, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, if we need them, we take them, and then we just reset, and then the next week we roll back into volume, and we start another climb.
I believe that most people don't really train hard enough to really need a deload on a regular basis.
That is probably pretty true.
And that's not to say something bad about anybody, but I just feel like most people, the pre-programmed deload I'm talking about, most people don't train hard enough to need that deload every 5th or 6th week. I really feel like you can go like 8 to 10 weeks without needing a break.
I think that's something that's changed with the online stuff and social media is because people they're posting all this shit every day about their workouts, and I think they start to believe that they're really doing all they can do.
Yeah.
Because it appears that way by the video you put with your favorite song and your favorite butthole shorts.
Yeah.
But it's like in the reality, I feel like things have changed like that too. And, maybe it makes me sound older, but that's okay. But I just feel like we've lost some of the hardcore stuff when it comes to training.
100%.
Because, I used to come in and I would be violent, dude. I'm not telling anybody this is correct, but I would throw shit. If I had demons of the day, buddy, you was gonna know it that day.
Yep.
And you don't see it a lot. I would throw shit.
Well, then you would channel that towards your training
for sure. And I was dead serious. You know what I mean? And we've I think some of that's been lost along the way a little bit.
For sure, I agree with that.
And that's just the way gym culture has kind of evolved or devolved.
Evolved or depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, and because that was just the way I used to train. You know what I mean? And I would love to get some of that back, to be honest with you.
I love, I love watching, and I watch this movie every week. I either watch it or I listen to it.
Gone with the Wind? That's a great one.
Gone with the Wind.
Titanic's great. I love Titanic.
West Side versus the World.
Oh, yeah.
I watch it or listen to it every week just because I love listening to those stories.
And we were around some of those guys. We would go to comps, and West Side would be there.
Yeah,
Lou would be there. Chuck Vogelpohl, these guys. And there was no one more intense than Chuck Vogelpohl. Like, when you look at his whole stuff, like, what was the saying? Don't talk to Chuck.
Yeah.
Like, and we have many stories that we have witnessed, of these guys, the true West Side. And it was that was a whole different world, man.
Yeah,
we were
I love
fortunate.
watching it.
We were fortunate enough to be backstage at the WPO handling our lifters that were competing, and so you got to see all these people. Some you could talk to. Some
This
you
is
couldn't.
mid 2000s, so
Yeah,
this is a
long
this
time
is
ago.
20 years ago.
Okay.
And Westside would have their group, and
Big Iron, all
Iron
those
would have
guys.
their group.
Yeah, Big Iron. Yep, they're in the movie.
And we would, you would just sit there and watch. And Chuck had the most intense, whether he was sitting down or lifting, he had the most intense persona.
He's a scary motherfucker.
And but nobody would approach him. Remember that story you told me about somebody that tried to talk to him?
Yeah, I was sitting in the back. I don't remember who it was with.
I love
Maybe
these
Brian or
stories.
somebody. But Chuck sitting there, and Chuck, would always lift towards the end. He always had a polo shirt on, which was
For grip on the bar, I think.
no
right?
one was doing
Right.
it. I don't know why he did it.
That's what I think it was. I think it was because the shirt, well, from what I read anyways, the material that the shirt was made out of gripped the bar better.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
From what I read.
But there was I remember this. Chuck was sitting down, and super intense. And the dude's neck at the time.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
He had a
He-
horse neck,
And
dude. Like,
veins that pulsed out of it.
Yeah.
he was just a freak, man. But the most intense. And some guy comes up and is literally staring right at him. Chuck sitting down. I can literally picture this. And the guy's having like this full blown conversation, and Vogelpohl never looks up. And someone had to come over and like, hey, like, it's almost like Chuck had handlers. Like it was an animal, dude. Like, whoa, like you're about to get killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get mauled.
But you couldn't even you couldn't break anything about his his stare or his concentration. Like
His focus was.
He's fucking scary. And I've never seen him in person. I just seen him on cameras.
yeah, it was
With his
it was a
fire
different
unique
Unique
experience. Yeah. But
or what was the other guy that was known? He'd be
From
like,
Westside?
No,
Oh.
Captain Kurt.
Oh,
Kurt
yes.
Kowalski.
Kurt Kowalski was
Oh, yeah.
super intense.
massive bencher, right?
dude.
Yes.
Well, he was 1,000-pound squatter.
Well, the funny thing is, him and Ed Cohen were pretty much from the same era.
Yeah.
And they were two completely different personas on the platform.
Yeah.
Ed was very calm and approached and
very
deliberate.
cerebral.
Yes. And Kurt was just, the Tasmanian devil.
Yeah. I envy these guys, man. That's
Yeah.
I watch these videos all the time, and I'll just go back and literally just watch them train.
Hold on a second. We went out again.
That's all good.
Those were good.
Yeah, just like not even like
Make sure it's still.
most people would probably think that they're boring videos, but I just like to go back and watch them train and just look at how their demeanor and the way that they spoke to each other and just the way that
It was
just the way
different.
they trained. Yeah, and I love the look too of I just love the way the old West Side Barbell looked. Just like a little small, almost office type building with a monolith and a few machines, and there's like 20 guys and they're just getting after it. I love that so much, and like you said, like kind of lost a little bit of that, and there's just not enough people that care to be different anymore.
Well, we definitely, I think it's lost. Intensity would be the word.
Intensity,
to me.
yeah.
And I've trained a long time on that, and I definitely know I can channel it and turn it on and off very quickly.
Yeah.
And that's just something I did, I think, my whole life in any sport I've ever been in. And some of that's kind of
Emotional intelligence, yeah.
some of it's kind of gone by the wayside. You know what I mean? Or maybe even frowned upon. Like, God damn, dude. Like, and I was probably pretty extreme on some of that shit. Like it was frowned upon when I was doing it. You know what I mean? Like, but I didn't care at the time. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So, but it's definitely different. I mean, not to say that it's for everybody.
Right.
That not everybody should do that.
Sure.
But I used to love seeing it. You know what I mean? I used to love being a part of it.
It's fun, man. It's intense.
It's very intense.
It's hard to explain the type of energy that creates. And if everyone's on the same page, it's even better.
Right.
It's kind of weird if like five guys are training, super intense. There's like some kid over in the corner, like his headphones on, like doing push-ups or something. Like that was the thing I thought that was beautiful about West Side from my perspective. I've never been there. I can't speak for anything that happened there, but just watching it is everybody was on the same page,
Right.
and everybody was.
Well, Louis demanded that too.
Right.
That was his culture,
You're right.
and that's what was expected of you,
Exactly.
or you did not last there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was it, and it wasn't for everybody. By them, and those guys, they tell you in that documentary, they put their families aside.
Yeah,
You're talking about guys like, man, we made big mistakes in our life.
Oh yeah.
Children,
Yeah, I mean, it was
activities.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've
vacations.
watched it so many times. I know all the
Yeah.
stories. But a part of that, which I always was curious, and maybe you guys know, How the fuck did Louis Simmons make money? Because he obviously was not concerned about memberships.
Equipment. So a lot of his money was made with equipment.
Like selling equipment?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because it was free to go to Westside. No one paid to go to Westside. I don't know if you know that.
I do remember that now that you say that.
So, and he took everybody to breakfast every day that he paid for.
Bob Evans, right?
Club.
So a lot of it was
I always thought about that.
It was equipment, and I think towards the end, that's when apparel started. But back when nobody bought apparel or
not really.
Yeah,
that wasn't a big thing back then.
It
really.
wasn't nothing. Nowhere
you
compared
buy
to
shit
what
online. Like online shopping wasn't like a big thing.
No, and so that a lot of it's evolved to where it's just different now.
So he was selling that much equipment that he was able to
He was obviously selling enough.
Yeah.
I mean, and but he had patents on shit.
Yes.
I mean the GHR and all the back attacks and all that.
Reverse
that was all his stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't think if you bought that, it had to go through him.
Gotcha.
Because he had the patents on it.
It's a nice history of the evolution of his gym. When they first the equipment, then they went to chains and bands and how that whole thing started. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
But it's just a nice story.
He was reading
Dick
all
Hartzell.
the Russian manuals.
The Rubber Band Man.
Well, and that's what I like.
Yeah, having them interpreted.
Yeah. So and then he realized that that's what the Russians were doing, and that's
Right.
why the Russians were so strong. So we need to start doing it. And like you said, the Rubber Band Man, like they had these the jump stretch bands they were using.
Yeah. Well, Dave Williams from Liberty University told him about this guy, Dick Hartzell, and then he went to visit him with Dave Tate, and Dave Tate became the guinea pig.
Yeah.
For the bands, and they experimented with that. So it's a good story.
I mean, and a lot of people, there's a lot of people that didn't like Louis. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
He wasn't necessarily a likable guy, from what I understand.
No, but one thing I liked about him is he never told you that he invented any. He would say, "I stole all this.
Yeah.
I stole all this from Eastern Bloc countries."
Well, they were more powerful.
He probably
than us.
liked he probably liked that character for himself better. Like he was a thief in the night, because he was kind of a rebel.
Hardcore. I mean, everything about that place, dirty as hell, like shit everywhere. And
I heard stories.
It was filthy.
Like fucking McDonald's wrappers, like all over the floors all the time.
The dumbbells everywhere on the floor. I mean, you see the pictures. Like, like me, I'd be like, everybody get the fuck. Like, I'm very OCD when it comes to my place. You know what I mean, everything has its place, but that was his deal. Like the only thing that mattered to him was the outcome. You know,
it was
what
world
I mean?
records. That's all he cared about.
That was it. And if you weren't a world record guy or you got hurt, and Mikey Brown, and he trained over in Omaha.
Right.
And
he trained with us for a little while
too.
Yeah.
But he would say, like, if you got hurt or you were done, it was basically over.
Yeah.
Like, and you went from having this family like people that they had no use for you anymore.
Yeah.
It was like the horse with the broken leg.
Right.
Get rid of them.
Yeah. Shoot back and shoot it.
Shoot them and get them out
Which
of
I
here.
think is weird. I think it's a little bit weird, but then again, who am I?
That's just the way the culture was.
That's the way it was.
Well, and there was, between Big Iron and Westside, it was always a huge contest of who was the bigger, badder gym. Because Rick Hussey.
Rest in peace.
And he was a hardcore dude too, ruthless.
Yeah.
I mean,
eventually Chuck went to Big Iron, didn't he?
No, Chuck went to Lexington.
Okay.
Iron.
Yeah, Lexington Extreme it was, and
Extreme, that's right.
They had a big falling out, and so I mean it was crazy stuff back then, but there was no shortage of intensity back then.
No.
Is that where Lex and Ironworks came from? Was Lexington Extreme?
Maybe, because I know that they have Vogel has equipment of his own.
He does, made through a company called Lex and Ironworks. I wonder if
that's
Lexington
probably
Extreme.
Yes.
Which
I would say probably that's the deal.
I think that company went out of business though, unfortunately, because I've been trying to buy a power pole from them for like 6 months, and they don't have them. They don't have any made, and then like their Instagram page is gone. So.
I didn't know that, and that could very well be, but yeah, because that I think Chuck like either invented that or.
Do you have one?
No,
I want one so bad. I'd pay a lot of money for one.
And they look so stupid when you're using them. You're just like,
well, the first time I saw one, I was like, what in the world?
They do. They
but just
the
leverage is so horrible, but that's the point.
Yeah,
that's the point.
I mean, I just think about it in terms of like your front carry and just like all the glute and hamstring and back.
The posterior chain.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's such a genius piece of equipment.
Yeah.
And the only thing we would have even that I could think is similar to that is like leverage wise is our chest supported row. Like the arm on it is so far out, so people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna
throw a couple plates on."
Yeah, I'm like, "Go ahead."
Get humbled real quick.
Yeah.
Then they're like,
"Is it from Arsenal?"
Williams.
Okay.
Williams Strength, awesome equipment.
Yeah, I love Williams Strength. I got a few pieces from them.
Yeah,
sled and stuff.
Yeah, and Williams makes all of the elite equipment.
Yep.
Yeah, so I've been to met the guy Willie up there.
Yeah.
Shout out old Willie. He's a good dude.
Elite is basically the because you can't just buy Williams strength stuff. You kind of got to order it, right?
Yeah, they don't carry it anywhere.
Yeah. So Elite's kind of like their storefront almost.
Well, they just make they're just the fabricator for Elite. Mm-hmm. So I've been to that warehouse and factory up there. It's impressive. And what's funny about that is all that stuff is within 20 miles of each other. You have Williams, Sornix, Donnie Thompson, and Spud
all right there
are in Columbia, South Carolina, and they're all within like 20.
Really?
Yep. I've been to Sornix too, man, with Alan, and you talk about top notch. Williams is the same way. Like they make everything on site, the upholstery, the powder coating, everything is done right there. Huh. And you talk about world class. So when you go in there, you go in the office, it's lined with like every NFL team that they sell to, because one of those two are outfitting the whole NFL or high like D1 colleges. So you go in there, you're like, holy
Sornix
shit.
and Williams.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're talking. Every contract they have with every school is multi-million-dollar. So, every 3 to 4 years, let's say Texas redoes their gym, and it's everything in that bitch is personalized to them.
Brand new color schemed label.
Every plate has their. It's beautiful stuff. So it's impressive though. But it's kind of weird that they all ended up out
right
of
there,
Columbia, South Carolina.
Do you think that's by chance, or is there something about that area?
I don't know.
Is there like just good steel there or something?
I don't know, but I tell you, they know what they're doing. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Have you ever been to the summer Sornix summer?
We talked about going to that. Me and Sam from here.
I want to go this year.
I think has it already passed, or is it coming up?
I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's in July it's in August.
It's coming up, but they'll have every. Like great coaches from the NFL, D1 colleges, like the best power lifters, like Ed Cohen, all these guys show up and everybody comes in, you can buy a ticket and they coach for days.
Nice.
So it's I would definitely love to do it. It's impressive.
Man, I'm thinking of something else. It's in May.
That's what I thought it had already passed.
Yeah, I was thinking of a different seminar then, but this here though, I do want to go to this, so.
Yeah, it's impressive, man.
Yeah, this year they have Andy Galpin, Jim Mackey, Eric Serrano. Yeah.
They asked me to go, and I was like, I'm busy right now. That's not true at all.
Yeah, I had to decline my offer.
Yeah. I'm with you. I would love to go up there myself. So
yeah, we should make it a trip sometime. Get a bunch of Florida people to go.
Yeah, that would be
fun.
Cool.
From what I understood, I know a couple of people that have went. They said that it was less about the education and more about the experience.
Sure,
just being there with all the people and networking and just having fun.
Yeah, going. That's another thing with anything in life. Networking's everything. It's who you know. You know what I mean?
Yep,
what kind of
meeting
contacts
those
you have.
people, getting their phone numbers.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
It's worth the money. That alone is worth the money. Not to mention like the experience, the education, and just
right.
Whatever else you gain there.
Asking questions.
Yeah, people look at the price tag and they're like, "Oh, it's so expensive." I'm like, "You have no idea
the wealth of knowledge you
have
access to,
and just meeting these people,
right?
If you do it the right way."
Yeah.
So,
all right,
but
man.
So, Competitor Ready is the new brand.
Okay.
When is Competitor Ready going to be ready? Very soon. I'm just making sure everything looks professional on the website. I don't know an exact date yet. I mean, it's a rebrand, so it's not like a launch of something brand new per se. There will be some new things, but like my business is operating and doing things as normal right now. So I'm not in like a hyper rush because I'm out of money or anything like that. But I'm just working on it, making it look professional. I'm doing it all myself, so that way I don't have to pay for somebody to manage my website because that's expensive and unnecessary for the small operation that I have. Next competition is a secret. Second competition after that is nationals.
All right.
I mean, you guys didn't ask, but I'm gonna tell you anyways.
Strongman Corp or
nationals?
Or
Strongman Corp, yeah.
Okay.
Nationals, yeah. I'm gonna do that, and then OSG, and then Arnold in April.
Cool.
So that's my next. That's my layout.
Gotcha.
And then after that, I think I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. Not a break from training, but like a
competition deload.
I think I'm gonna go up to 90.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's time for that for me. I just have some unfinished business as an 80 kilogram. I feel like personally, which I want to finish this year. and I just want to get super jacked and
Your next evolution.
Let myself grow to 215ish,
Nice.
the Scott's weight.
Yeah.
and can compete the rest of my. I'm 31 now, so maybe the rest of my career at
Still young.
90.
Yeah.
Still young.
Plenty of years. Yeah.
I've been competing for a long time though. I did my first competition when I was 14.
Nice.
So there's a lot of mileage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We both know that.
But
for
I'm
sure.
still in one piece, and I'm
Yeah.
still okay. I haven't lost too many abilities. I can't really squat, but I guess you don't really need to squat to be a strong man.
Not too much. No.
Well, I did build a lot of strength in my body, for 14 years squatting, or
Right.
like 10 years squatting, but that's a whole other conversation we can talk about another time. But it's good chatting with you guys. Always
Absolutely.
Glad you came down again. Yeah, glad
Yeah,
to have you as
absolutely.
always. Yeah, definitely.
So we can, John, tell everybody where they can hear all this lovely.
Well, Instagram, Gorilla Strength Podcast. Scott is Vanilla Gorilla Diesel.
Mm-hmm.
That is correct.
I am JD.Penguins.
I am Caramel.
Only one in Florida.
And then
YouTube,
podcasts are on
Apple iTunes,
Yep.
Spotify, the usual one. So like, subscribe, and share. And
Sure. Yeah,
as always, we like your feedback. On these podcasts, we've been getting a lot of good feedback.
Yeah, I've
from
listened to all
everybody,
the ones so far that you guys have made.
We're getting better as we go.
Yeah, we got the sound ironed out.
I think we might have the
Apologize
sound.
for that.
The last one, there's some sound issues.
Well, like I said, I changed out all the cables, and we did some switching around with some stuff. So hopefully that'll.
And it fixed it.
And like I say, we're still amateurish at this. We're
Yeah, we've invested hundreds of dollars in this.
tens of dollars have gone into this production.
Yes.
I think this table was more than that.
Yeah,
Yes, this is a heavy table.
but
Rogue table.
we
Yeah.
just started out. I mean, Scott and JT had the audio podcast years back, and when he mentioned wanting to do it, I was like, well, let's do it if we're going to do it.
Do it the right way, right?
And kind of emulate some of the other podcasts. So we went to the video also. So we're learning as we go.
Well, this
but
is awesome,
we
and
just,
I'm impressed with it.
We just want a.
And I have a high I don't want to say expectation, but like I won't watch a lot of things if it doesn't. I'll listen to all podcasts, but I won't
Right.
really watch them if they're not
Yeah.
well done.
A decent production.
I watch these. And
I
like
appreciate
them,
it.
so-
I do.
Yeah,
But we just wanted a good vehicle for Central Florida strong competitors
That's an
or
awesome thing that you
powerlifting
guys do.
or whatever kind of thing. And
And
so-
let me just mention too, like we do have people lined up for the podcast. But if you're interested in being on the podcast, by all means, you can reach out to us. We would love to talk to different people of all levels,
Backgrounds,
competitions or whatever you have to do with any kind of strength. We're definitely interested, and we like doing it and shooting the shit, and we'll just kind of keep it rolling. We're having fun doing it, and we appreciate everybody listening.
I
for
forgot
sure.
that we were recording and other people are actually going to listen to this. Like
Absolutely.
half the time I don't even consider that. I just talk.
that's good. That's what we
Yeah.
want. No, that's exactly what we want. We
Yeah.
want to talk as little as possible and let the guests.
For sure.
Well, awesome, guys. Well, thank
So-
you again for having me out.
Thank
and,
you.
We'll
And
talk again
best
soon, I'm
wishes
sure.
for the upcoming contest, the secret one and the second one.
Thank you. Yep. Secret one and the second one.
All right. Are you going to announce the secret one before you do it?
No,
or?
it's just going to be a ghost drop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I guess if you scour Iron Podium, I'm sure you'll find my name, but
Yeah.
it's going to be a ghost drop in.
Okay.
If you are diligent.
I'm just going to wait for the surprise. I'm not even going to look.
Yeah.
Wait for
Wait
for the surprise to come out.
You
Okay.
know, it's all about branding, man. I got to keep the people guessing. You
That's
know,
it, man.
Now they hear the podcast, they're excited about Zach's new show. What's he going to do?
That's it. That's how to do it. So,
No, the
alrighty.
real reason why I'm not saying anything is because there's 2 shows that I'm considering to,
Okay.
get me to the. You guys will figure it out to get me to the same platform I'm trying to get to. I just haven't
gotcha.
decided which one I'm going to do yet, so I just don't want to name it and then
Not
look
do
like
it.
and then be a liar.
Right.
So
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Alrighty. Well, thanks for being here. Everybody,
Thank you,
like,
guys.
subscribe, some share. Did I say that right? Like, subscribe, and share.
yep.
That's good
Quick.
enough.
Good enough.
Now, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.